Looking for a brand new or used firearm in or around Hartselle, Alabama? Head on down to Byford's Gun Shop and explore their latest offers and deals. On top of a great selection of high quality and affordable firearms to fit your needs, their staff will have you driving away with a smile. Byford's is a third-generation business that has been serving customers since 1971. Started by Joe and his father Ernest, the business continues to prosper well into the 21st century with Jeff Byford's knowledge and leadership. With brands like Benelli, Clock, Sig Sauer, and many others, you won't go wrong. Also check out their large selection of AR-15s and hunting rifles in many calibers. Byford's carries ammunition, special installation service, knives, accessories, transfers, and customer service that's second to none. Stop in and see them at 510 Main Street West in Hartselle, Alabama, or like them on Facebook at Byford's Gun Shop. Their team can be reached at 256-778-3111. That's Byford's Gun Shop, where they go the extra mile to satisfy your shopping experience. Head on over today. They'll be waiting for you with friendly faces.
3, 2, 1, 0.
You're listening to the Knives Templars.
Get ready, y'all. We about to Bobby Boucher you. Bam!
I got a piece off of the wagon that Sam Houston used to take JFK to the moon.
Pinto sauce. I like that. Pinto sauce.
Pinto sauce.
You're tuned in to the Knives Templars podcast, featuring Odisir Special Sauce Pinto.
I was a mean kid.
Long time listener, first time caller.
Eric T.R.E. Rivers.
Holy crap, I built something.
Don the Train Watson.
I can pay off all my credit cards and beef jerky credit line at Bucket.
Joey the Riot Terrier.
Cochon de lait will make you smack your lips and anyone getting too close to your plate.
Mark Vasallo.
You drinking my soupy?
And Chip Shegman Carlisle. And now broadcasting alive, it's the Knives Templars. Coming to you live from Porkhouse Studios located in Hartselle, Alabama and other U.S. locations. This is the Knives Templars podcast. We are the coolest knife-making podcast on the planet, and we are downloaded around this big blue marble in over 24 countries. We are on air, on demand, and heard worldwide in all of your favorite apps and at knivestemplars.com. Hey guys, welcome to Season 7, Episode 25 of Forged in Fire.
What?
Wait, what? Huh? All right, welcome to Season 7, Episode City. Welcome to Season 7, Episode 33. We got a great beer review for you tonight. And I'm excited to tell you we've got a great champion tonight. Mr. Britt Barnes is going to be on the show from Season 7, Episode 25 in Forged in Fire. And have we not been quite blessed? I mean, we've got all of these great makers that have been coming over here and joining us for the last many shows, and just one Forged in Fire champion after the other. And not that we want, our show is built on new makers and up to masters and beyond. I mean, if there's beyond master, but my goodness, we sure have attracted some really special people. But Britt will be on the show just a little bit later. And I am here joined with Joey the Riot Terrier, Odisir Pinto. He's out getting you said he was getting a pedicure tonight, I believe, didn't you, Mark? He texted you earlier
pedicure.
today? Yeah. Well, you're going to the beach. You want to look good. Okay. And we've got Don the Train Watson.
Hello.
Don, the train was a little bit loud last episode. Are we going to be controlling that this episode?
Talking about loud. Well, I hope we can maybe more mellow than we had last time.
Every time I turned around last episode, there was a train going off, and you just had the prettiest smile on your face.
Yeah.
Mark Vasallo. I was going Mark Vasillo. I listened to the last episode, Mark, and I kept going Vasillo, and I didn't catch it until you corrected me in the episode. I went Vasillo, you went Vasallo. And then throughout the rest of the episode, I kept going Vasillo. So how are you, Mark Vasallo?
I'm doing great, and you got it perfect this time.
Are you? Do you have any mob family?
Mom family? I do.
Mob, M-O-B.
Oh, mob. Sure. I'm sure I do also.
You're from New Jersey, so I didn't
I'm
know.
Italian and from New Jersey. I think that just pretty much seals the deal.
I just don't want to upset the family. I just don't want
Yeah.
to upset the family. So pardon me. I'm ignorant. Mark Vasallo. Eric Rivers, he's sliding in here tonight on a bowl of chicken soup, and after a hard day in Texas. How are you doing, Eric?
I'm doing good.
Man, you
Doing
sound
real
good.
good.
You got that microphone tuned right in today.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the folks can't see it. I see a great patch on your chest. What does that patch say?
Oh, yeah. No, I forgot. I even wore this shirt today. It's a service school workshop for Jayco travel trailers. There's a
And
training that I went down to and got certified with.
and that's very important because Eric, I have never been so lucky. I've never really won anything, and I never sold a house in a seller's market, never bought a car in a buyer's market. I actually have a friend that knows the RV market. So when I go out and get my trailer here soon, man, I am in like Flynn. I am so excited. And
Oh, yeah.
Joey Terrio, man,
What's up, Chip?
Santa Claus came to see you this week. We're going to talk about it a little bit later. But do you feel like the luckiest boy on earth?
I feel very blessed. I'm very grateful.
Yeah.
Yes.
Does your wife know you got all this stuff?
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Well, now
Do you
she
have a-
does
Of course
because
she
you just
does.
announced it.
do you have a basement in your house?
No basement. No, you can't have basements in Louisiana.
I didn't think so, but when I lived in Michigan, they always said, I hope if I die, my wife doesn't sell my fishing gear for what I told her I paid for it. And we had basements in Michigan, and I hid everything in the basement. Nothing ever came up. And since we've moved to Alabama, I don't have a basement, and she handles the checkbook and all that thing, so I can't get out. This morning, she was telling me, you better start selling more knives. So,
Yeah. Well, yeah.
do you ever hear that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, let's take a
hearing-
poll. Eric, do you ever hear that?
Yes, absolutely.
Your wife says we need a bigger house because you keep all your knives, right? A large majority.
I have a good portion.
You can't walk through Eric's house without feeling like you're in a movie with Harrison Ford and somebody's picked up a rock and all the blades.
I have about 35 of my pieces, but I've made, a few hundred knives. So
yeah.
yeah,
When you're a
keeping 30 is
collector,
not bad.
you're a collector as well. Y'all don't remember Sanford and Son, do you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just envision Eric's house when he goes over when he goes over to the knife drawer and starts fiddling through, and there's like 600 knives in the drawer. So there you go. There you go. Man, I'm excited to be here. I've had a long week coming off of vacation. I tell you, it's a tough life. But hey, guys, here we are in season 4. I am just going to say it. We're the best podcast out there. We're family friendly. We're a group of great guys, and we've got colleagues out there that have other great podcasts. But by gosh, I enjoy what we do, and I'm looking forward to continuing to grow with you guys. Joey's raising his finger.
So whenever you edit the cast, Chip,
Yeah.
after you say we're the best podcast out there, you need to insert a little cha-ching,
There
a
you
little
go.
sound effect.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and I'm basing this on statistical data. Dudes, we're showing up. Well, you guys go out there, do a search for knife making podcast on Google or Safari or any of your
Mark's on it.
man, we are popping up and just continuing to climb the ranks. We're starting to get more and more people contacting us. I'm excited. I know there's been a lot out there longer, and I'm not knocking them, but by gosh, we're just good at what we do. That makes us the best. We're still heard in just 30 countries. I mean, only 30 countries, but I watch that ticker every week to see where it's growing, and I'm going to have to start sending some reminders out to people in the other 200 countries to make sure. But here we are, season 4, episode 33. And we want to thank everybody out there for listening to us. And if you're on a podcast app right now, please go over and click subscribe. We'd love for you to. That way, when you when a new episode comes out every 2 weeks, you'll get a reminder that says, "Hey, go listen to those knuckleheads and Chip." No, they'll go listen to that knucklehead and those other cool guys, and you'll get a reminder on that. So click subscribe. If you're listening to us through the internet off of our webpage or anything else,
be sure and come back. We're glad you're here because this isn't just a podcast about us. This is a podcast about everybody. It's an all inclusive. Eric
Hold
is
on.
holding up something right now for us to
So
see.
let's see here. Let's see if I can get it to focus on here real quick. I don't know if I'm going to be able to, and
You can read
it's
it
too
to us.
bright.
You can read it.
Here's a thing that shows a 15 best knife making or knife podcast, and we are on their list, number 6.
Number six.
Okay.
Number 6.
Yeah.
Well,
It's good.
but you know
Real
what?
good.
You know what? I submitted to that podcast and I kind of watched that one. What's the name of that? What's the name of that that page?
That is FeedSpot. Let's see if I can.
And if I'm not mistaken, if you contribute more to
Why can't
SpeedSpot
it do it?
with a membership, you'll climb the ranks very quickly.
Ah,
So
Oh,
if you just look on generic entries, man, we're popping up.
whoa.
We're popping up with all those other cool cast out there. But hey,
That's funny.
that's
That's
still good.
funny.
That's still good. That's still good.
I love that.
Have you gentlemen been to knivestemplars.com? We got a big change out there.
oh,
Another one? Another change?
It's always changing. We keep it up to date. I'm
Yeah.
always working on it. You guys are giving us information and actually getting ready to kick off a blog out of there. Really not so much a blog, just an article section. I guess that's a blog in itself, but I don't want to be so bloggy as much as I want to provide maker information. But what's new out there right now, guys? We had Jason Fry fill out a application this past week. We sent it through the head office over in Missouri. They approved it. He is now on the insurance plan. He does have a company credit card, and Jason Fry is now a guest host and regular contributor to the podcast.
Oh,
He's like those cool people that go on the Fox Newses and the CNNs and the MSNBCs. You pick your chase station you like and go, hey, he's a paid contributor now. He just volunteers his time, though. Joey's like, paid? Did I hear paid? No, Joey. He volunteers his time.
It's a paid volunteer.
Yeah,
Paid
Volunteer, not
volunteer.
paid.
Paid volunteer.
He's a paid
It's not
volunteer.
voluntarily paid.
Well, we tend to take care of each other at times, but we welcome him into the family as an official Templar, not a and he's going to continue to provide these open spots for us where he's providing knife tips from his books, and he's well entrenched in the knife making community and just an all around cool guy. And I do want to tell you, if Texas ever secedes from the Union, he's a guy you want to be close to.
Yeah,
because he knows important people if that ever happens.
I was talking to him today, and there's a chance that I might be traveling with him to Blade Show. His traveling buddy, I guess, backed out, and he was asking to see if I would roll down there with him. So I might end up.
So you didn't want to sleep. You didn't want to sleep with me at Blade Show. You're going to sleep with Jason Fry. I understand. Bigger name.
You know,
bigger name.
His hotel's across the street.
Is he staying at the Hampton as well?
Sheridan.
He's staying. He's staying at the other place. Yeah, I'm at the other Hampton from you, but just joking, of course. I'm actually trying to talk to my wife.
I know.
See if my wife wants to go now, but she has no interest in walking around looking at knives. I said, "There's a guy that dresses like a fox."
See, I've got to figure out if I want to go ahead and do this because I was planning on being there Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So heading down there Thursday, coming back Sunday night. He's got the Texas Knife Makers Guild on Thursday, so I would need to head with him on Wednesday, and then we wouldn't come back until Monday because and he's got to set up his table and all that stuff. So I don't know.
Well, hopefully it'll work out for you. Hopefully it will.
Yeah.
I'm going to be down there on Saturday morning like I was last year and be there through Sunday. And then head on home from there. Jason be a great traveling partner, but I will tell you, sometimes it's nice to have your own set of wheels and be able to go and come and go as you please as well. So I had a guy one time that filed a complaint on me that I had hijacked a company car from him because I had the keys to it, but he didn't have approval to drive the car. I wasn't going to. He wanted to go drive somewhere. I'm like, you can't. It's mine. So he got upset and said I had hijacked the car from him. So that's a bad position you want it to be in. So you and Jason don't want to have a falling out over. He won't let you go down to the Circle K in his Maserati. So there you go. So Knives Templars, I had mentioned that Jason Fry is now in there, but also if you go out there, guys, if you mention Templars 10 with Phoenix Abrasives, what do you get, Mark?
You get 10% off your next order.
Have you actually experienced this, Mark?
I did. I just got my next set of belts in, and got that. I was excited to put in on, and I use their app. They have
right.
They have their app now. So normally I like talking to everybody down there, but I just didn't have time, and so just figured I'd check how the app works. So plugged into the app, it worked great. Typed in Templars 10 and in the discount code, and a couple days later, a whole bunch of fresh new belts showed up in the mail.
You're supposed to go bam, and then they showed up like that.
That's right.
Bam, and a couple days later. So Good for you. Yeah, Don.
I just want to let everybody know out there in podcast land that Harbor Freight is having that big 25% off on one item. Next 4 days, baby. So
by the time they hear the podcast, it'll be over.
Yeah, but
sorry about that,
guys. I went through the does not include list and went, damn.
Yeah, a lot of it. Yeah, a lot of it ain't.
Why don't you put it on the website, Chip?
Well, it's Harbor Freight's, and they're not a paid sponsor.
Oh,
that's true. That's true.
Do you know what I didn't see on the exclusion list on there is a Sandblaster.
That's right. You can get 25%.
You can get a Sandblaster on there.
That's how I got 25% off that and the bead blasting.
What about that? What about that new anvil that they're for guys that want to get into beating some steel and want to spend $150 or so? I wonder if that
might be. I didn't see that. What brand is that now? What do they carry on that?
What is like their? Go ahead.
I think it's like the V4 anvil.
It is. Huh? It is. It looks practically like it, and
it's similar.
Yeah. So that would be a great deal for guys that want to go out and beat some steel. I mean, that is. I've heard great reviews on that. The Vivor's got great reviews for folks getting into it. I'll just give you my 10-second review on that. I started out. I've got the Vivor type anvil. It was the Turkish anvil they called it back a year or two ago on Amazon, but. I will tell you, I've made some really nice knives on it. I've got one little ding in it, and I've struck it hundreds of times with hot steel. You certainly should never hit it. But I will tell you, once I went out and bought this 100-year-old anvil that I've got right now, man.
What is that? What brand is that, Chip? Your 100-year-old.
It's a Paragon anvil, and it's from Switzerland about 1920.
Yeah,
and
nice.
Yeah, and they it's got a little bit of a ring to it, and I'm probably going to buy some more chain to wrap around it because I tried a magnet that didn't quiet it down, but it really doesn't bother me. It's just my neighbors. They're having Memorial Day people over this weekend. They're all going to be going.
Did you use silicone underneath it, or it attaches to your?
I did, and it's not bad. I'm just going to wrap a little bit more chain around it and see where it goes. But regardless, it doesn't really bother me. I wear hearing protection and glasses when I'm beating on it anyway. But what I was going to say is that thing really it seems to move still a little bit nicer. It seems like you get a little bit quicker, and when you strike things, I think there's a lot to be said for the rebound in that anvil and the energy traveling back through it. And I don't know. I'm guessing. You think that's true, Eric?
I mean, it is, but I'll tell you, it's the difference in the way the mass is set up on your style of anvil versus the Vivor. It's going to rebound better. It's going to move the steel better just because of the style of anvil and where the mass is on it. Like if you've ever seen one of those, they have that little knife making anvil.
I've seen them. Yeah, you're talking about the one with no horn.
And one with no horn. And it's just all mass. Anvil? Yeah, it's just all mass in the center. things like that. Those are great for stuff like that. But yeah, it's just about where the mass is.
Yeah,
And
there's somebody.
my anvil is close to yours. I have a Trenton Ajax, and
You have a beautiful
it's
anvil.
similar. Yeah.
I saw a Sawyer's anvil. It's on Facebook and it's about 20 miles from me right now. They want $3,500 for it. It's a 300-pound one, and it has a cast iron base that it slides into. And there's no way I'd spend that kind of money, but it is such a cool. It's got a red star on it. I don't know if that identifies it with anything, but it's really cool anvil. So what I was going to say though, if you've got $150, take advantage of that coupon if you can get one.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it applies or not, but that's a great great way to start beating steel. And if all you've got is a sheet of plate steel an inch or two thick, then start beating on that. But it's a lot of fun. My first anvil was I bought a striking plate that was a 12 by 18-inch piece long of steel. I had somebody cut down and it fit on a log, and I just had it screwed in and I beat on it for a while. And it was a hardened piece of steel, so it actually did just fine. Yeah. Man, we've gotten off track already, but hey, that is exciting stuff. This is live exciting stuff. So, guys, let's talk a little bit about the menu tonight. We already announced the great Britt Barnes from over near he's in Tennessee, but near the North Carolina border. That's near and dear to my heart. If he says he fishes for trout, I'm gonna become best friends with him. I'm watching him on screen here. Oh, there you go. I can already tell you, I'm stopping sometime. But we've got the brew review, and I want to tell you, I've had an opportunity this week being down in Destin, Florida, to come back and give you a one heck of a good brew review. I am not looking at the notes while I play the guitar tonight. Figuratively speaking, Don knows what I'm talking about. We're both guitar players. I am freehanding it, baby. I'm going to let it flow off my lips how I feel about this. Then we've got some news and useful information. I've got some feedback from Mr. David McConnell. I told David, hey, David, I told you to listen to the show tonight. So if you're listening, got some news for you. Pops Maker Mark got bread on. We got tips with Jason Fry. He sent us some fresh tips in here lately. And then I've got some items we can talk about. We have if we have time, we'll get into some stock removal versus forging, because Eric has become this great forging artist in my mind. I love the work he's doing, and I want to really see if Eric says, if you're not forging, you're not a knife maker. Hold your tongue, Eric, because I want to see, because you've become. Is it not fun to forge before you grind, Eric?
I love it.
Isn't it the best thing in the world? It's like, don't get me wrong. There's a place for stock removal. I love it. I'm letting the cat out of the bag. They're knife makers.
No, we'll get into it. We'll get into it later.
But forging just adds a whole different. Yeah. Everybody's got some new equipment. Joey's just showing off with new stitching machines and presses, and Eric's got new hammers and he's forging, and Mark's got belts. Don, have you got anything new lately?
I'm kind of scared to even say anything.
Don, give us a little hint, Don. What do you got?
Well, I did buy one of them Boyle. I bought two of them, a angle vise and a regular vise.
Listen at you. All right, hold on. We'll talk more. And I want to, every year the podcasters, they like, okay, let's have a talk about the things you shouldn't do at Blade Show. Let's put a different spin on that. Maybe we'll do that one first. Let's talk about the things you should do at Blade Show, including the things that piss knife makers off.
Yeah.
I'm not saying do those things, but we're kind of talking, it's kind of reverse psychology.
Yep.
Do shave your arm, that kind of stuff, and then
film their knives without talking to them about it.
That's right.
And we'll close this on out. Yeah, I'm actually going to try to do some podcasting interviews while I'm there this year. So while you're filming, I'll be interviewing, and I'll let you do your thing. I don't want to interrupt you, but and we're gonna tag team them and really freak them out this year. So, are you guys ready for the brew review?
Yes, I am.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Well, let's just go around and find out. But you know what? Everybody refresh your drink. Let's take a quick break. Be right back.
Hey, listeners, let's take a moment today to thank one of our sponsors for today's show, and that sponsor is Ameribraid Grinders. Eric and Kevin over at Ameribraid have sold thousands of these grinders, and they are super nice guys, and their customer service is excellent. I would know. I've been personally using their 2x72 grinder now for 2 years, and it has changed my knife making to a whole new level. So if you're in the market for or looking to upgrade from that 1x30 or 2x42, then give Ameribraid a look. There you'll find they have 3 packages of grinders to offer. They have a mastery package, a foundations package, and a get grinding package, in which all of them come at different price points. So I'm sure you'll find something that'll suit your needs as a knife maker. Also, Ameribraid has a ton of innovative attachments for their grinders. So listeners, you can find out about all of this at www.ameribraid.com. Go give them a look, see what they have to offer today. And now, back to the show.
All right. Well, welcome back. When we left you, I was getting ready to talk about the brew review. Somebody pour the beer. All right. Thank you, Mark. I had something special happen this week. Like I said, I'm going to freehand her way on out of here because this is I've got something exciting to talk about. This past week, I went down to the beach down in Destin, Florida. I was in Miramar Beach, and I went over to the old Winn-Dixie, the beef people. Isn't that what they were called back in the day, Don?
That's right.
The beef people.
Not no more though.
No, they were the beer people. In Florida, you go to Publix.
Yep, Publix
or Winn-Dixie or what?
Well, it depends on what you want to buy, but yeah, you can go Publix, Walmart, Winn-Dixie.
Y'all don't have Kroger down there?
No, we do not.
Oh, okay. So I went to the Winn-Dixie, and as I was searching around for my Michelob Ultra, little pack of Michelob Ultra, I decided to look around and see if I couldn't find something special. I looked for a Florida Man.
Oh yeah,
and somebody's eaten all of the Florida Men. I don't
Really?
know what has taken place. There was not a Florida Man to be found. Now there were other beers from the Florida Man, brewery, but there was no Florida Man to be found.
Oh, darn.
So as I searched, I found a beer that said, "My son's going to school up in Kentucky. He's in Lexington. I drive the Bourbon Trail. You know we like bourbon. Joey likes bourbon. You drinking bourbon tonight, Joey?"
No,
I'm actually drinking some, got some Gold Peak sweet tea lemonade with some Absolute vodka.
Oh man.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I switched it up.
He must be out of bourbon. So I went and saw a 4-pack of, it said Kentucky Bourbon Barrel Imperial Milk Stout from the Lexington Brewing and Distilling Company in Lexington, Kentucky. It's right there on that circle. It goes around the University of Kentucky. Son lives not that far from here. I'm not going to get into what I told my son and his fiance tonight, but I'm going to tell you what they have to say. Lexington Brewing and Distilling in Kentucky announced nationwide the release of its newest barrel-aged beer, the Kentucky Bourbon Barrel Imperial Milk Stout. With a note of chocolate, roasted coffee, hints of molasses, and dark flavors, the 100% barrel-aged Imperial Milk Stout has a beer meets bourbon finished at, you hear this, guys? 12%. 12%.
Ooh. Saw that.
Alcohol by volume. This rich and bold beverage, I've had one of those 12% today. This rich and bold beverage is aged in freshly decanted Kentucky bourbon barrels. Now that's what I call recycling, guys. Which adds a note of caramel, oak, and a sweet, sweet, sweet bourbon finish. All right, that's all they had to say. But its story doesn't end there. I only drank 2 of those this week because at 12%, this is what I call a dessert beer. You don't sit and drink 4 of these sitting somewhere. You don't drink 2 of them, or certainly not me. It's something you sit and drink and you sip like a bourbon and you enjoy it nice and cold at about 50 degrees. Guys, this was literally the best beer I have ever had. Not only is it handmade, and we love things handmade, it's produced by mortal men. When I realized it was actual human beings making this and not something supernatural, I was amazed. I wrote this down and sent to you guys earlier this week, but it still stands true. If old Randall McCoy had taken a couple of bottles of this and went over to Virginia from Kentucky to Devil Anse Hatfield's Virginia cabin, we'd have never had the Kevin Costner miniseries, The Hatfields and the McCoys. They would have worked out. Uncle Jim or Vance, whoever he was, would have never shot the McCoy's cousin for wearing that Union coat. Nobody would have stole a pig. And if they had, they'd have said, just give me a couple of those bourbon beers. We'll call it even. It's that good. This stuff could settle conflicts. It's good beer. It's like banana pudding between two sides of a family at a family picnic that don't get along. When you hand out the banana pudding, everybody's fine. Everybody's fine. That is this beer. That is this beer. And so much so, it's a sit back and sip beer. And you need to be thankful for these blessings. It's libations. I'm giving this one 22 hops, and that's not even on the scale. We go 1 to 5. This has got 22 hops. So much 22. So, I am surprised that Elon Musk hasn't recommended this stuff. He's got to know about it. I loved it so much. I actually went out today and I bought the Kentucky Bourbon Barrel Ale that they offered. It's only 7%, and that's good because I'm not really about alcohol volume. I'm really about taste. I'd prefer it had, 0.1%. I'm looking for a good tasting beer. But their Bourbon Barrel Ale, and it's delicious. I could talk another half hour on that. But then on top of that, my buddy said, have you ever tried Dragon's Milk? I'm like, Dragon's Milk? That sounds interesting. What's in Dragon's Milk? Do we add that to the Kentucky? He says, no. It's another bourbon barrel aged stout from New Holland, and it's 11%. I'm holding it up here for you guys, and let me just and my goodness, I don't know, have I ever that's why it gets 22 hops. I've got 3 beers in 1 week that I have tasted, that I have fallen in love with. I don't need another brand of beer in my life except Michelob Ultra, because that's just to rehydrate you and clean your kidneys. But I have got the best beer in the world. So I give 22 hops, and I fully recommend Kentucky Bourbon Barrel Imperial Milk Stout from Lexington, Kentucky. I recommend Kentucky Bourbon Barrel Ale, and I recommend my newest find today, Dragon's Milk Bourbon Barrel Aged Stout from New Holland, 22 hops. That's all I got to say. And thank you for listening.
Sounds like I need to try it.
Sounds like the birds have been drinking it. They're happy. They're happy. So, Joey, you're into the old potato vodka tonight. Eric, you had chicken soup for the soul, and you're following that up with a Sprite.
With the awesome strawberry lemonade.
Oh,
strawberry lemonade. Yeah. A hard strawberry lemonade. No?
I don't think so. I think he said awesome.
Yeah. Awesome.
I heard him. Mark, you're biting at the bit, so I'm going to stop you right there. Don, is it cow?
It's cow.
Cow?
Cow time.
Did you put anything in the cow this week?
No, just half and half. A little half and half will make it good.
Would you just drop a few? Would you drop a few marshmallows or something? Maybe a cinnamon stick in it next week, so you can freak us out.
You could.
Yeah.
Look at that sexy mug he's drinking out of.
I know. I bought a coffee press today, Don. I'm halfway there to some cow. Yes, just like that. They do not have a coffee. They do not have cow at the Kroger's. No cow at the Kroger's, but
No.
you need to send me the link, and I'm gonna order some cow because I am a big coffee drinker, so I wouldn't mind experiencing this. So Mark is sweating. I can tell. Our veteran from the Air Force is waiting to tell us that he went out and got what today, Mark?
Well, actually, like I was saying a little bit earlier, I was wanting to get what you had and got rushed out of the store. However, since the last like 2 episodes were all on light beers, I think you were taking a look. I found this beer. It's a Dogfish Head IPA called Slightly Mighty, and so I'll tell you, I have to say it's probably my favorite light beer now. Because it's kind of like it's an IPA with training wheels. So for folks who don't like IPAs or haven't had one yet, this is a great one to start out because it's not super bitter like you get in some of those really high bitterness content IPAs. But no, it's not watery. It's got a little bit of that IPA aftertaste flavor, and I think 90 calories or something like that, 95 calories.
Man, oh man, what is the ABV on that?
I don't know.
Can you research that for us?
I will. I'll look it up.
I did see the Dog's Head down in Destin last week, by the way. I did see the Dog's Head down in Destin. Yeah. Well, it sounds like we're all hydrated, and that's good because we've all had busy days. So we'll talk about that just a little bit later. Hey, guys, got a little news for you. It's time for the news. Thank you, guys, for doing the brew review. As far as the news goes, I'm not going to get too in-depth in it because we've talked about it for the last several weeks, but I am super excited. Eric Rivers is gassing up the car. He and Jason Fry are talking about running a wagon train all the way over to Atlanta. Mark Vasallo, not Vasillo, it's Vasallo for you people writing in. Mark is making sure there's someone to take care of Squishy, and he and the wife are going to load up the wood paneled minivan, and they're going to be taking that over to Atlanta. Joey, I know Britt Barnes is heading there because he's finishing up some knives. Don is going to be holding the fort down because he found out that there's a new product out there, to us anyway, called Gator Piss. So he's going to be looking for a Gator press so he can get the tinkle out of them because he's going to start selling that as an etchant sometime in the next few weeks. Joey, we want to know, where are you going to be?
I'm going to be at a leather workshop, and I'm also going to a forging demo.
So what you were telling me is that you are not going to be at Blade Show.
Not going to be at Blade Show. Nope.
Well, it sounds like we're going to have to do something different if we ever want to run into you this year. And what is that event that you want to talk to us about real quick? Is it going to be down in Louisiana? Is that coming up?
Yeah, we had September 9th over in Gonzales, Louisiana. We have a knife show hosted by Louisiana Custom Knife Makers Association. It's going to be at the Lamar Dixon Center at 9039 South St. Landry Road in the Trademark Building.
And that's Ethan Lee and his team of folks that put that on, his partners. And they've always got good food, good music, and good knives over there for a day. And is it going to be 1 day or 2 days this year? I'm not sure I heard
that's you. That's a one day show. It's the 4th annual Louisiana Custom Knife Show. It's going to be held in the jambalaya capital of the world.
Yeah,
Gonzales, Louisiana. So, yeah, if any of you guys are in the, around, September 9th, doors open at 9 and close at 4. So
now, do you know if Sarah will be there or Chris this year?
Yes, Chris will be there. Sarah will be there.
I miss Chris Jones. He's a good man.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. So awesome dude.
We'll have to see. I'm not sure if that's outside of Eric's travel range, but maybe we can all descend on Louisiana and spend a day there and eat cracklings and try to talk Cajun, and you can all laugh at us. and then beat us
Yeah.
up because we're not from there and we're trying to talk Cajun. You think we're just making fun of you, right?
Of course,
I really,
no.
I really need to make it to one of those shows down there with y'all. I wish that I would have went to the one that was directly after Blade Show Texas that y'all all went to. I regret not going to that show so much. It's ridiculous.
Which one?
The one
Oh,
down in that you, Chris, and um the guy with
the one in Conroe?
I think so. Yeah, it was the one that was like
Yeah.
right after Blade Show Texas,
Yeah.
where it's all the people who make, it's all their knives, all
The
handmade,
former,
all everything.
yeah, the former, it was, I think it's the Texas Knife Show with the former Forge and Fire contestants.
That.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, I tell you, that'd be a great opportunity maybe for us all to come together and we can all stay at Joey's new house. He's got that nice, beautiful white room he's in right there. We could probably
Hey,
bring
man.
sleeping bags and
Got a
eat
couple of extra
jambalaya.
rooms. Yep.
There
A
you
couple
go.
of extra rooms.
There
Yep.
you go. Free stays, free eats. We can't beat that. Do we have to
Yep.
pick up when we leave?
No, man, don't worry about it. Just come on over, hang out, and go to the show,
See,
eat some jambalaya.
Cajun people are the best people in the world. They're just good people. Well, you'd mentioned Blade Show, and of course, that's where I was alluding to, guys. Blade Show's coming up in Atlanta this coming weekend after Memorial Day, June 2nd through 4th. It's brought to you by the editors of Blade Magazine. I hear that I think I heard this week that New Jersey Steel Baron's going to be doing the internet for Blade Show, so you should have good connections there this year. And Blade Magazine, it's the #1 knife community and publication in the world. It's globally recognized, and we're going to have exhibitors and legendary makers known to many people all under one roof. Thousands of people are going to be coming into one of the largest selections of blades that you can find. You're going to shop hundreds of exhibitors, hold the world's best knives. You will find the newest blades, the newest equipment, the newest components that if you're a knife maker, you can put into them. And also those one-of-a-kind collector's knives. I know my friend Josh Howard, he's been putting out a bunch of beautiful, beautiful handmade folders here recently. And they're not cheap, but gosh, they sure are worth it. Some beautiful, beautiful folders he's going to be taking the Blade Show. Antique swords and much, much more. So you also, while you're there, don't just go to Blade Show. Hang out a little later. Pay for extra hours to stay over in one of the decks on the site there, and be sure and pay for the deck because that'll give you easy walking to the exhibit. And you can attend that free after party each night in the Blade Show pit. I have been to the Blade Show pit. There's a lot of cool stuff that happens in the Blade Show pit. We've got a buddy that hands out free libations in the Blade Show pit.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember him saying a particular brand, but I don't know.
Do you know he called me and took my order for the Blade Show pit this year? He said, what kind of beer was it that you want? I'll have it for you down the Blade Show pit. And I'm like, that's the nicest thing in the world. But I'm not going to make him do that. I mean, I think I'm going to stop and buy 2,000 Chick-fil-A sandwiches and bring them. So.
Oh man.
How many? 2,000?
Yeah, don't count on that, guys. Don't count on that, guys. But yeah, it's so nice because there's a lot of people talking, and also food and drinks are available down there. So guys, go out and visit bladeshow.com and register. Go ahead and get your tickets early so you can just go over to Will Call, pick them up, get your credentials, and walk on in. And also, like I alluded to, go ahead and pay for your parking while you're there because when you get there and you expect that you're going to get into a deck, it's going to be very hard. Go ahead and pay for that parking now. I'm parking in the red deck. We'll be having the 6-minute after party every night when I walk out to the car. That's about the time it takes me to walk to it, so we can party all the way there, and we'll have fun. Don.
Yeah, the most important thing, you better bring cash too.
It's good to bring cash, but I did talk to Josh Fisher, who said last year that credit cards are working just fine for many of them, but bring cash because many of the vendors will only take cash. So
that's correct.
Consider that. Don't go home empty-handed because you didn't think ahead. And I'm still going to have to beg my wife for some cash to go over there. I may be a little overspent, so we'll see here. I have one other piece of news. just so you guys know that we had a successful and wonderful first meeting of the Alabama Knife Makers Guild. There we learned a little bit about doing organic, what do you call it with the, I always forget, you guys know how to do this, the printers that you can print 3D, a 3D printer.
The 3D printer. Yep.
Yeah, so they were printing 3D images with this organic material, and they were filling it full of metals, and then they were going to put that in a canister or make a canister out of it, and seal it up, and then turn it into a nice piece of blade steel. So we did that, and that was quite exciting. And additionally, we got to watch Josh Ferran come out and take a piece of steel from just a lump of steel all the way to I would say a finished blade ready for grinding at that point. So that was quite exciting. Well, we found out that we need to meet at least monthly. So I am excited to say that on the 17th of June, we will be having our second meeting with the Alabama Knife Makers Guild. Mark, are you coming up for that one?
Where is it? Up at Josh's?
It's going to be up at Josh's place. Yep.
I have to see what is that? I have to see it. 4 hours maybe.
Yeah, just 4 hours.
Me?
Yeah, just 4 hours.
Where's Josh at?
He's up in just around Rogersville, Alabama, which is around Huntsville. And if you need to, bring Squishy, and we will. My wife can take care of Squishy while you're there. Not a problem. I've been installing birdhouses around the backyard. Yeah.
Is that by Anniston?
No, Anniston is over on the eastern mid side of the state. This is going to be up near Huntsville, and it's in a beautiful, beautiful venue. Josh has got a beautiful shop, and it's worth just going to see the press and everything it's got. But this week, or this meeting coming up, we're going to have a plethora of different things going on. I think they're.
I'm gonna try to make one of those.
Well, let me tell you this, Joey. I'm not being weird here, and the same goes for Mark. If y'all want to come up and go to one, my sons left home 7 or 8 years ago, and I have 3 bedrooms and 2 baths upstairs that are not being used by anybody. You guys are guests. You can come anytime, and you'll be welcome like family. So there you go.
Appreciate
that. Or if you want a hotel, I'll help you arrange for something there as well. All right. Well, hey, guys, let's take a little break because we've got to do a little feedback, and we've got to get into the Maker's Mark with our buddy Brett Barnes. So we will be right back.
Pop's Knife Supply was started 40 years ago and is owned by 4 professional knife makers. Andy Roy of Fiddleback Forge, Alan Searles of W.A. Searles Knives, Joey Berry of J.B. Knife Works, and Dirk Lutz of Dirk Lutz Knives make a great team of owners carrying on the traditions and business started by James Poplin. Over 4 decades in business is a testament to the best customer service with same-day shipping on weekdays. Pops only charges actual shipping, and any shipping differences are refunded on your orders. Everything you need to make knives, from grinding, steel, pin stock, heat treating, and more, can be found at Pops. Visit them at popsknife.supplies. And now, back to the show.
All right. Well, welcome back. Welcome back. I hope that was pretty good news. We got a lot going on in the knife making community, but I do have a little feedback. And unlike last time, we have made sure that everybody knows we are the Knives Templars, not the Knights Templars, from our last podcast. So we are not here to talk about knights and people that chase the Holy Grail and set up banking systems, and only to be undone by the French and the French king and the Pope. A whole nother group.
Wow.
We are the Knives Templars. And this week I got this great email from a gentleman by the name of David McConnell, and he's with Northwoods Forge. He says, "Hello, gentlemen. That Chip, he sure is a swell guy. I tell you what, you have one great leader."
I don't remember. All right. Yeah, maybe.
All right. I made that part up. He said, "Hello, gentlemen. That Chip sure is a weird guy. If y'all could only get him off the show, I would love to come on. No. Hello, gentlemen. What's a guy got to do to get on the podcast? Would love to throw my hat in the ring. You can check me out at Northwoods Forge on Facebook or my David McConnell profile. So you can check him out at Northwoods Forge on Facebook or David McConnell on his profile if you want to friend this guy. But I'm telling you, he has won a major award tonight, and he has to claim it. David, if you email us before the next show airs, you're the next guest on the Knives Templars. And we look forward to hearing everything you have to tell us about Northwoods Forge. What do you guys
I have to
say?
say, I went and looked him up, and he makes some amazing knives.
Yes.
When I was impressed, it was good stuff on there.
That's the kind of guy we want on here, don't we? Influencing other people. All right, David, there's your invite. We're coming after you. Don't come after us. We're coming after you. You're that good. So we'd love to have you on the next show. Just send me another email at knivestemplars@yahoo.com. Or I'll give you even a better one, chip.carlisle, CARLISLE @outlook.com. And I'll be more than happy to get you set up on the next show. All right. Well, let's take another quick break. And when we come back, we're going to talk to our buddy Britt and jump into the Maker's Mark series. We'll be right back.
All knife makers need abrasives, plain and simple. Here at Knives Templars, we're proud to partner with Phoenix Abrasives. I used to get my belts from another company, but they spent more time on marketing than they did customer service, sometimes taking 2+ weeks to ship my order. That's not the case with Phoenix Abrasives. They're obsessed with committing all of their resources to customer satisfaction. Whether you're using a 2x72, 2x42, 1x30, or something else, they've got you covered. They even carry Rhino wet sandpaper. So go to phoenixabrasives.com/shop and enter promo code Templars10 for 10% off your next order.
All right. Well, welcome back. Welcome back. Let me see. I have got the Maker's Mark series. We have been doing this for 3 seasons now, and it's been quite a success. We get so many cool people on here. And the thing is, it continues to grow. One's not better than the other, but I tell you what, who would have thought when we all started making knives, the quality of knife makers out there? Pretty cool group, isn't it?
That's right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, we've had 176 people as of today sign up for the Alabama Knife Makers Guild. I mean, the world is just a flood with creative people. Well, tonight we've got on our friend Britt Barnes with Britt Barnes Knives. He's out of Newport, Tennessee, and he's right over there near on Interstate 40 in Tennessee, right before you go into North Carolina and drop on down into Asheville. You can also find him at brittbarnesknives.com, and he's on Facebook. But also, just as important, he has done his knife test for his journeyman. He's getting 5 knives ready here in the future to go ahead and earn his journeyman. But additionally, he's a Forged in Fire champion from season 7, episode 25. Very exciting guy, and we've already heard a little bit about him and talking to him this evening before the show. So, Britt, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be on.
Well, we are so excited to have you here. We've already been checking out your website, and I read a little bit of your webpage. So we usually get this started is just basically, man, how'd you get in started in knives? And like I said, you're beautiful knives. So how'd you get going? Everybody starts somewhere.
Well, I mean, I guess it's no secret. I'm a believer, and I think it was a God thing. I just happened to turn on YouTube one day at my office. I had a little bit of downtime. I was working for the federal government I was a federal law enforcement officer for 30 years. And I had a little downtime in my office. I jumped on YouTube, and the first video that popped up was Jason Knight forging Mosaic Damascus. And the gentleman that had posted the video since pulled it down, but he talked about how he was in South Carolina with an ABS Mastersmith forging Mosaic Damascus. I didn't know what the ABS was. I didn't know what a Mastersmith was. Jumped on Google and found the American Bladesmith Society and found Jason's contact info and called him.
Well, you got ahead of me there because I want to ask you one thing. You said you're with federal law enforcement. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Who were you with? What branch or?
Well, if you watch my episode, they cut off 10 years of my career. I was 20 years Border Patrol, and then I went to Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, and finished up 10 years with ICE.
Well, thank you so much for the years and all you did to protect our country and the things that you did for that.
The honor was mine, sir.
Our law enforcement. No, let me just put it this way: nothing is perfect in this world, but I tell you what, the degradation that we've seen in our view of law enforcement over the last several years is just terrible. And I tell you what, you guys have a job that requires split-second decisions, a thorough knowledge of regulations in the law, and you're as professional as you can be. And we should be thanking our law enforcement officers just like we thank our servicemen who take care of this country, because everybody's got a valid part. So before we go any further, thank you for working all the years that you did with ICE, as well as anything else you've done in your career. So I have one other question. Do you still have a You're welcome. Do you still have a taser?
I beg your pardon?
You still have a taser? Did you keep one?
Believe it or not, the Border Patrol and ICE did not have tasers when I was there. They started getting them after I left.
Well, see, my grandchildren have just turned 3 years old, and I can't control them. So I was just wondering.
Man,
taser worked. It worked.
Well, I mean, we can turn them down to stun. I mean, aren't they like those things on Star Trek? You just turn them down to stun, where they just kind of like go to sleep.
Not really. It's straight up 50,000 volts. Yeah.
But no. I do not need that. But yeah, we'll just move right on. We'll move right along. Yeah. No, seriously, thank you very much for your years of service to our country and to immigration control and so on. So you were talking about how you got into it. So where did you grow from there? You had mentioned earlier about heading to a hammer in, and that was an interesting story.
When I called Jason, he said, do you want to learn how to make knives? And I said, absolutely. He said, what are you doing Friday night? And I said, nothing. He said, come to my house. We're having a hammer in. And I said, that sounds like awesome. And so I got home and I told my wife Friday night we were going to a hammer in. She said, what's a hammer in? I said, I don't know. That's how little I knew. I didn't know what a hammer in was. And we got there and Kyle Gahagan was there, who's an awesome journeyman smith, fixing to be a master smith. He was there. There were Charles Lionheart Ellis was there, and several other people were there, and there were 4 or 5 guys pulling glowing orange steel out of the forge and just making some crazy stuff. And I was standing there with my mouth open, catching flies, looking like a maroon. And Jason walked up and said, hey, I'm Jason. How you doing? And I said, hey, man, how are you? And he goes, what do you think about this? This is the craziest thing I've ever seen. Like 2 weeks later, I was taking a 3-day intro to bladesmithing class at his shop. And that's where I forged my first knife. I actually made a stock removal knife that night at Jason's shop with his help.
Gotcha. So awesome. And these days, looking at your knives, are you mostly forging? Are you forging everything that you're making, or how's that?
No, I have some stock removal stuff, but I primarily forge.
Are you doing a lot of Damascus, or is that the look that you're going for? Or?
I do a bit of Damascus. I don't do a lot of Damascus. I do a bit of Damascus. I make a little neck knife that I call a stinger, and I'm taking 2 of those to Blade Show that are Damascus. They're a low layer ladder pattern Damascus, and I'm taking a couple of those. My press has been down. I've got I just simply have not had the time to get it back up and running, but it'll be up and running by the end of the week.
Odisir Pinto would be excited to know that there's another little knife maker out there. I make a little knife. He makes fun of my little knives, Brett, but you can't beat a little knife. So, who's surrounding you over there on the east side of Tennessee as far as knife makers and the things that you're involved in that particular area?
I'm probably 60 miles from Jason Knight now. Jason's up here in Tennessee, up near Bristol. Bert Foster is also in Bristol, Virginia. I've got several Master Smiths right across the mountains there in Clyde, North Carolina. Daniel Warren is over in Clyde, North Carolina. Fuad Malawi is over in Knoxville. Fuad just he passed his Master Smith performance test. He should be a Master Smith. It may already be. I haven't talked to him in a while.
Right.
I'm surrounded by some really big guys.
Oh yeah, for sure, most definitely. Guys, jump in here. I'm sorry, I'm just taking over this conversation. I'm so excited.
Hey, Britt. So in the discussion so far tonight, you've mentioned, you said we a lot. With the business, is it like a family business, or who you working with when you're saying we?
To be entirely candid, it is a little bit of a family business. I have obviously the support of my wife. My wife does come down and forge a little bit, and I try really hard not to use the word I a lot, and so I tend to use we. But yeah, my wife does come down and forge and work on stock removal stuff as well.
Yeah, because it always takes, no matter how much you do yourself, right? It's a lot bigger than that.
It is.
Hey, Brett, I'd like to ask you a question. What is your favorite knife to make? What style of knife do you like to make?
I absolutely love forging chef's knife. The complex geometry of forging, taking a 1/4 inch thick, 1.5 inch wide bar of 1085 or 1095 and forging out a 7.5 inch chef's knife that's probably 90 thousandths at the spine before you quench, all done by hammer. That's pretty neat.
Oh, good deal. Good deal.
Are you using a belt sander or a disc sander to do those kind of knives?
I have both. I have a belt sander and a disc sander. I've actually got a pretty well equipped shop. We've got surface grinders, mills, power hammers, presses. I think I'm up to like 8 anvils currently in the shop because I do teach. So,
oh wow,
that's good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I know. I was looking at as you were coming on air with us tonight. I was, we've got video here, and I was looking. You've got a pretty decent shop there. How big is it? About 30 by 40, or?
Yeah, it's 30 by 40.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's pretty
Nice.
good. I used to guess weight and age at the fair when I got out of prison. Just so you know, I took one panel.
Try to guess my age. My age is that's a little rough these days.
Yeah, well, I would say you're 179 and you're 66.
Well, you're off on both. Yeah, but I'm closing in on 66. Now I'll be 59 in just a few weeks, and
well, you threw me a poker curveball there because you did the whole thing about my age, and I figured, well, he had to be older. I'm 58, so you're still a young man as far as I'm concerned. But how close was I on weight?
You're a little light. I'm pushing about 210.
Damn. Well, pick out a prize, man. I'm sorry. I got that one wrong.
Give me the stuffed panda. I want the stuffed panda.
Yeah.
So how long have you been actually making knives, Britt?
Well, I took Jason's class about 7 years ago. I took a year off with some medical stuff. I actually had my right retina detached twice within 90 days of
goodness.
Whoa. And so I didn't swing a hammer or do anything for about a year.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a friend that's going through that right now, and he was just talking about the recovery process as far as the things that you're able to do so you don't detach it again. So that must have been a good time that they could repair it, but a miserable time as far as being able to get out and enjoy the things you enjoy that are physically active.
Yeah, it was weird. Mine actually, we were living in Charleston, my wife and I, and we had bought this house in Tennessee, and this was our weekend getaway house. And we walked outside to head up here for the weekend. And I told her, I said, "Hey, you're going to have to drive. I'm not seeing too well. I don't know what's going on. It looks really dark out here to me." And there's a blacksmith in the community, Chuck Wright. And I called Doc Chuck and I said, "Hey, Doc, this is what's going on." He said, "Get your butt to the emergency room. You may be having a stroke," which kind of freaked us out. And I ran to the emergency room, and they did an ultrasound on my eye, and they said, "Yeah, you got a retina detaching." That was Friday night. I woke up Saturday morning, almost completely blind in my right eye.
Wow.
By Sunday.
Now, how is it returned?
It's I still see out of the eye. It's not great. It's my close-up eye. Distance-wise, it's pretty toast. It's pretty toast. Just from the scar tissue where they went in and had to, they use a laser to stitch it back on, and I've got a lot of scar tissue built up back there, and so the vision's there. It's just not great.
Gotcha. Well, tell us a little bit about your Forged in Fire experience. Love to hear that.
Yeah.
That's a God thing, man. That really is a God thing. I didn't like the show. I'm not a fan of the show. I was actually an instructor at the Ice Academy, and my students were like, "Hey, you're making knives. Have you seen that show on the History Channel?" I said, "No, I hadn't seen it," and I hadn't. I'd never heard of it. And I asked Jason about it, and Jason's like, "Yeah, it's Forged in Fire." He said, he talked a little bit about it, and so I'd retired and I moved up here, and one day I got a message from a lady. I actually never applied to the show. I got a message from a lady. She goes, "Hey, I'm looking at your knives, and I was wondering if you'd be interested in being on the show." And I said, "No, thank you. I'm not interested." And yeah, true story. And like 10 days later, she messages me again, and she's like, "Hey, we've got this episode that we really think you'd be really, really good in. We'd like to have you." And I'm like, I don't know about this. I'm not sure about this. I said, "I'll tell you what, call me, get with me Monday." And so this was on like a Thursday. And so that Friday and Saturday, I called everybody that I knew that had been on the show, including Jason. And I was like, "Hey, they want me to do the show." And everybody was very positive about it. And Jason, who is obviously is my mentor, he said, "Yeah, go." He said, "You'll be the fourth person I've ever taught, that would go on and win. And when your mentor says you'll go on and win, I mean, that's a pretty big boost of confidence."
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And I went on the show, and there's actually a backstory to that. The reason that I call it a God thing, the backstory to that is I was actually.
Did we lose him?
Or either he's decided to sit there very silently
and very still
with his mouth slowly open. And I think there's also that Mr. Freeze from, was it Batman movie? I saw.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, could be there.
Yeah, it could be that.
Oh yeah, any second now he's coming back.
Yeah, and then there was that one movie where if the aliens saw you move at all, so everybody froze real quick out in public.
That's what happened.
It could be aliens, and we're seeing it from the East Coast and moving west.
Hey, so I'll jump in real quick, and depending on how this comes together, if we get them back or not, I watched the just before this, I was like, normally I watch the episodes on the weekend if I have a chance to rewatch them, but that was the one I remembered, because there's a bunch of episodes, right? Forged in Fire. There's so many episodes and so many seasons.
Was that the First Responders episode?
It was.
Okay. Yeah.
And so, I think it just made it so memorable. Before the show, I was chatting with him and saying that the thing I remember most about that was I think I remember folks working together more as all the competitors in that episode, almost more than any of the other episodes. They got together, they were helping each other out, made decisions together. So it was, it was just a great. You saw how first responders really that is their personality, right? Is to help
Teamwork.
others, whether it's a competitor or somebody on the street. And then really, I think it might be the only. I don't know if it's the only one, but I think one of the only ones I remember that it was. They didn't get a this knife will kill. It was this tool will rescue. Because they didn't make in the final competition, they didn't make a blade. They made a rescue tool.
Yep.
Well, we may need to use it because he's stuck somewhere right now. And I would like to say, you
He's
guys
coming back.
are.
There he is. Hey, he's back. He's back.
We were so nervous that Mars attacked Britt and that the East Coast had fallen.
Well, I tell you what, it was close to it. It was close to it. For whatever reason, my Wi-Fi just decided it was just gonna take a hiatus.
Now that you're back, the aliens have let you go, and or we are speaking to Britt now. It's not an alien, right?
Yeah, that's what it says. Well, that's what it says on my underwear.
Well, I guess I shouldn't say that because you used to be an ICE officer, and I'm talking about the aliens. Didn't get you. My apologies. Not going there.
Good,
Pardon
you're
the pun. Pardon the pun. But with that being, or no pun intended. With that being said, so you were saying that they called and they wouldn't let you not.
Yeah, pretty much. They were very insistent, and that I go on the show, and I actually go on the show, and come to find out we're making a Halligan bar.
Yeah.
And I had actually made one for a previous student at the ICE Academy. And so I actually, if you watch my episode, Forrest Hansen is a retired fire captain out of Hemet, California. He and I were in the finale, and Forrest looks at the Halligan bar a bit dumbfounded when they pull the thing back, and I actually laughed because at that point I knew that I was going to be in really good shape for the challenge.
So did you start off with a piece of round bar stock, or how did you go about that?
No, the Forest and Fire producers sent me home with 2 pieces of 2-inch by 3.5-inch by 24-inch 1045 bars that weighed about 14 pounds apiece.
Okay.
And they sent 2 of those home with Forrest and I, and because it was such an unusual forging, it was very very closely monitored. My home film crew and Forrest's home film crew were in constant contact with each other. Are you guys, how are you guys doing? Are you guys going to be able to get this done? And apparently Ben Abbott had forged the one that was displayed, and he even had trouble making it in the 4 days that they required.
Right. And so yours won. What was the deciding factor?
Mine was actually had some the way that when I took Jason's class, Jason focused very heavily on blacksmithing techniques. Anytime you're swinging a hammer at the anvil is going to make you a better knife forger, whether you're making tapers or S hooks, whatever you're doing at the anvil, it's going to make you a better bladesmith.
Right.
Learning better hammer control, yada yada yada. So Jason initially for his class, I forged gosh, I can't think of now how many we did, but we had to taper some 1-inch rebar down to a point that was like 11 inches long, and they all had to match. And that's what we did for like the first 3.5 hours of the 3-day class. And it was learning how to forge and forge smooth, do a taper, make it take a round 1-inch rebar, make it square on the end, taper it down 11 inches long, then make it round and make it smooth. And that's what we had to do for the class.
Wow. So it sets you up for success.
It did. And then that student, former student, wanted me to make one for him. And so I made a small one, and that was 3 years before the show. And 3 or 4 years before the show. And so when I went on the show, I was like, wow, that's neat. And I laughed when they pulled the tablecloth back and the Halligan bars there. I actually laughed about it. And I was like that. And because I had used all the blacksmithing techniques that I was, well versed in, of upsetting and hot cutting and making square corners and reinforcing corners, which are all blacksmithing techniques, it was really in my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So now that you are retired at 59 years old, and that doesn't make me feel any better because I've still got dozen year or 10 years or so to go. Well, maybe not that long. I keep forgetting how old I am. But anyway, so you're doing this full time, enjoying life. And what does the future hold for you, Britt?
Well, when I say it's a God thing, the night my episode aired, another Forged in Fire champion over in North Carolina named Bill Sawyers, who runs Yellow Rose Forge, meant, and I'm air quoting, meant to text me congratulations. And he ended up calling me, and we ended up in a 20-minute conversation. Well, Billy is actually a vocational pastor and a full-time knife maker.
Oh wow!
And it's turned into ministry. We have a group that's called Redeemed Steel, and it's Christian artisans and craftspeople that are using their gifts and talents for kingdom purposes.
Now, do they have a website?
www.redeemedsteel.com.
All right, guys, we'll go out there and check that out sometime. So you are going to be at Blade Show. What's your table going to be?
I'm not sure. I'm actually splitting a table with Derek Melton.
Okay.
Another Forged in Fire champion. He called me up, said, "Hey, do you want to be at?" Normally, I'm at the Redeem Steel table, and I never know what table numbers they are. I just go where I'm told.
Right.
So I'm going to be at Derek Melton's table with him.
All right. So Derek Melton, people can look that up and they can see your beautiful knives there.
Yeah.
And as I'm looking to pull this up, any final questions that you may have?
No, I just while you were off, I made the mention that kind of like what I said before the show is that I thought it was a great display during that Forged in Fire episode of support for each other and really showed the true colors of first responders of, hey, it doesn't matter who you are, you're helping each other out. So again, one of my favorite episodes, I think. As soon as I went back and watched it again, I was like, I knew exactly what episode it was. So great job on that.
Thank you. I thought it was a really cool episode in that we didn't make we're the only episode that didn't make a sword. Every other episode's made a sword or an axe or something, It was funny to watch Doug Markida actually stumbled over "It Will Rescue" a couple of times. He really wanted to, the first time he goes, "It will kill," rescue. He actually stumbled on it because he's so used to saying "it will kill."
Well, let me ask you this: would Derek's would he be Melton Forge Works?
That would be Melton Forge Works.
You are going to be at table 9V, so put that on my list to stop by and say hello. We got so many people to meet at this Blade Show. Last year I walked around aimlessly, and this year, man, I've got so many people to walk up and shake their hands for being part of this show because really I'm nobody. I've got 3, 4, 5 great guest hosts on this show, and then folks like you that come on as well, and Jason Fry doing his thing. I tell you what, that's what makes us so cool at what we do. Well, Britt, I want to thank you so much for being on our show this week. And I appreciate your testament of faith. Man, that's really important. And also want to encourage people to go out and see your website because you make beautiful knives. And guys, stop by table 9V if you're over in Atlanta and shake this man's hand because He has a great background and also has a great future, not only in knife making and his ministries as well. So, Britt, thank you for all you do.
Thank you very much. And if I could, be sure to stop by the Redeem Steel table and see what we're doing. We use a large percentage of what we sell to fund mission trips to Guatemala, building houses, providing safe water, food to those that need it. This is we call it Incredible Crafts, Incredible Cause.
Cool.
Sounds good.
And we will encourage people to do that,
Awesome.
and I will do that myself. And I also want to say, I also want to be able to stop by Britt Barnes Forge for a Mater sandwich and a bathroom break on my way over to North Carolina to work occasionally. And I'm sure that you'll probably say, stop by anytime. Just don't clog the toilet.
Oh, I do. Yeah, stop by. You're always everybody's welcome here. My shop is not necessarily open to the public, but it's open to friends and other makers, and yeah, you're welcome anytime.
How far are you from Sevierville?
28 miles.
Oh, okay. Well, I was going to say maybe sometime if I'm driving over that way, I can give you a heads up and we can stop and grab lunch or something somewhere.
No, absolutely. Yeah, give me a heads up. We run to Sevierville quite a bit. Some of our favorite food stop is in Sevierville.
Yeah, Smoky Mountain Knife Works, Bass Pro Shops, and just a little bit of everything there. It's a great place to go.
It is a great place. It's great to be close to it and not have to deal with the traffic.
Yes. And of course, this weekend moving forward for the rest of the summer, my goodness, traffic's just going to be backed up there for the next 4 months.
Oh,
it seems like, through fall.
It is.
But Britt, thank you so much for being on the show. We have one final thing we have to go through here, guys, and this is I don't know if this was a close one this week. I think this is a shoe-in, but we didn't get Don's seal of approval, so we're going to go through it and see what Don has to say. Britt, if you get in, just keep in mind that you will be an honorary Knives Templar. As an honorary Knives Templar, you have all the rights and privileges of being a Templar. You have no voting authority. You have no spending authority. You do not get a credit card. Do not turn any receipts into me whatsoever. They will be denied. If I stop over in Sevierville, I will buy you lunch because that's just what we do. But as a Knives Templar, you're entitled to come on anytime. And,
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you for being there.
And Mark, you say? Mark doesn't have a credit card either, but Mark, what do you say?
I don't know. 5 thumbs
All
up.
right.
Absolutely.
J.W. Terrio?
Absolutely. Britt is definitely a brother in Christ. Absolutely.
Yes, man. Yes, man. Eric Rivers?
I would say absolutely for sure.
Absolutely for sure. Well, I'm not going to jump in ahead of Don. Well, I am going to jump in ahead of Don because that's a seal of approval. I'm going to say 22 hops, Britt. You get 22 hops tonight. That's a 22.
Thank you. High honors. I'm honored. Thank you. Thank you.
Not for me. I'm just a nobody. But here comes Mr. Somebody. Don the Train Watson. What do you say?
Oh, yeah. Amen.
Well, Britt.
Amen.
Britt, you were in choir practices this Wednesday night, and thank you for all you do. And,
thank you.
And again, thank you for professing your faith, and we look forward to seeing you at Bled Show. Hey,
thank
guys,
you very much for having me stop by the table anytime. Love to see you guys.
All right. Well, guys, we're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back.
Majestic Forge is owned and operated by Brian and Kayla Horn in Rushville, Ohio. With many years of experience manufacturing 2 to 5 burner gas forges, Majestic Forge is your #1 source for blacksmith forges, farrier forges, and specialty forges. They are dedicated to creating top-of-the-line forges at a price you can afford. Majestic Forge has supplied forges to blacksmith schools, high schools, colleges, production shops, and TV shows such as Mythbusters. And Majestic Forge is the forge of choice for televisions forged in fire. Knife makers are in luck as they offer forges that come with 2 or 3 deluxe burners. Here at Knives Templars, we are sure that you can find a USA-made Majestic Forge to suit your needs. Check out your next forge at majesticforge.com.
Well, guys, welcome back. Britt was a
That was
great,
awesome.
great guest. Love his faith, love his knife making, love his message.
That was.
Well, we have some really wonderful people come on the show, and we're quite blessed with that. But we've been on here about an hour and a half. We've been running like some 2.5 hour shows, man. I tell you what, gives everybody a half-hour day over the course of the week. They get a week's break to relax from all that excitement, and then we hit them again with another
Yeah.
4 30-minute segments on the drive home. But hey, I've got something that's very near and dear to my heart. I want to see if we can't get old Eric eating nails and crap in barbed wire. Probably not, but I want to say this. I've been watching this guy. He used to sit and draw these knives out on the steel and everything, and then he started doing a little hammering, and then he started getting something else and doing a little bit of hammering. And then he hammered a knife one time, and he hammered the bevels into it, and just sharpened the edge. And damn, if it didn't look like a knife. And now he's taking, weird pieces of steel and round pieces of steel and bar stock and round stock, and he's sitting there beating the crap out of them at the speed of Eric Rivers on YouTube, and that's like I've never seen anybody hammer so fast in my life, man. You are a hammer master. And he's forging
geez.
practically everything he makes. So I have a question, Eric.
Yep.
If you ain't forging, are you making knives?
Oh man.
Yeah,
On the
absolutely. If
spot.
you're making knives, whether you're forging or doing stock removal. If you're making knives, you're making knives.
Of course you are. But I've seen a lot of excitement, and I've experienced some of it myself. And I've seen Joey beating out some knives. And Joey's doing some beautiful Damascus right now. He's up to like 500 layers or something like that. And Otis here pounded out a knife this week.
Mm-hmm.
Hey guys, I'm going to open up to y'all. What is this new? Maybe not new to y'all, new to me. What's this new plane that we're on right now? Explain it to me.
Who?
Man.
It's just each of our journeys in knife making.
Yep.
It's just that next step,
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. And for me, so many knife makers that I look up to, they forge just some of the knives that I want to get to skill wise and level wise. And sometimes you want to make a knife with a piece of steel, but the knife you have in your mind doesn't fit that piece of steel. And for me, I wanted to get to a point to where I could just make what I want to make and what is in my mind, and get my body used to swinging a hammer, what hammers do, and just there is almost nothing more gratifying than taking a piece of steel that doesn't make sense to make into a knife and make it into a knife. And some of the stuff that I've been doing lately were the ones like that I'm showing y'all right now. But forging the fully integral knives where the handles forged in, the actual rounded part that people would typically grind in is all done by hand, and doing the transitions from the flats and the ricasso area up into the actual handles and doing all that stuff, and making it look like it's just really clean, sharp transitions, and all you did was use a hammer and an anvil. Woo! It's fun.
Yeah, it's real. When you accomplish something that you set out for it to do, it's real gratifying.
Mm-hmm.
When you finally get to the point where you master that technique.
Yep.
And you get that feeling, of that gratification of looking down at the work that you've done, and you're like, I finally feel like I'm getting somewhere. It's like it's a real overwhelming feeling.
It's taking molten Play-Doh and moving it with tools, because you can't move it with your hands by any means.
So that's a good point. And one of the things that I would say, well, one of the biggest learning steps for me, because people always tell you, and I hear it a lot, and I think it's true for a lot of things. People always tell you, forge it hot, forge it hot, forge it hot. It needs to be, you need to be able to see the orange or see the bright red or whatever whenever you're forging. But no one tells you what temperature the steel should look like when you're planishing, what the steel should look like whenever you are straightening out your bevels, or you're trying to get that edge in line, or you're trying to get a spine in line, or whenever you're smoothing hammer marks, or whenever you're trying to change a particular arc in your blade, where you want it hot, where it needs to be a little bit cooler, so that the part that you want to move is the hot part, but the part that you want to stay straight and not deform under a hammer blow is cooler. So it's trying to learn all of those steps in the process as well. Hammer techniques are a huge portion of it, but also learning the temperature that you need the steel, and not so much degrees wise, but the color of it. Because if I took a piece of steel and I wanted to just smooth a couple of things, or make it to where my hammer blows wouldn't mess up the steel, forge it a little bit
Yeah.
cooler, so that
Dull red.
yeah.
I have to interrupt the podcast. We've got a special alert here. Don, I saw you taking a drink of something out of a straw. What was that drink?
It's tea, iced tea.
It was. Don was not drinking cow on the show. Just okay. Back to our normal broadcast. Okay,
Now,
so we're back.
now, Don, were you going to actually say something?
Yeah, I was going to ask you. I thought since you've been doing forge to finish, I think that's what they call that.
Yeah.
I thought maybe something happened to your grinder, man. Maybe your grinder blew up and said, "Hey, I just forged this baby on out."
So with me, I have made so many knives that, and I'm happy that I did it the progression that I did it in. That I started with stock removal. I wouldn't be as good of a knife maker now if I didn't focus so much on stock removal leading up to my forging process, because I've got to spend so much time knowing what clean bevels look like, and knowing what good symmetry looks like, and really focusing on transition lines between bevels and flats, and knowing what I want my ergonomics on my handles to feel like. And you know it's just so good to have that grinding skill to make nice clean bevels whenever you do get to your belt grinder. But when it comes to the forge to finish, like he would like Britt was saying about the chef's knives, I love, like, whenever you can forge something as thin as I'm showing y'all right there.
Yeah.
That this distal was completely forged in.
Yeah.
So Eric, I do want to say on that, you make me sick to my stomach.
Oh,
because no, of course I'm joking. To sit and watch you evolve. I'm at this point right now where I used to beat things as flat as I could so that I could draw the pattern out on what I beat as flat as I could to it. To, this last knife I'm making, I'm actually beating in the point and then making the banana go in the right direction, and this, that, and the other, taking a piece of 1/4 inch steel and doing that. So you can picture that I'm probably 2 years behind you or something. I don't know. You pick the date. I just threw out 2 years as an example. But with that being said, the things that you're talking about, when I say it makes me sick to my stomach, is because I see those things. It's just you have to beat that steel to experience it. And when you do it, that's the plane that I'm talking about, is the fact that we go from people that do stock removal and very good at cutting out the bevels or grinding out the bevels and everything, to being able to envision that in your mind and know what the steel is going to do. as you
Yeah.
experience it and know that your greatest thing you ever talked about, is unbananing your banana. Unfortunately, I haven't gotten so bananaed I couldn't get out of it yet. But my point is knowing that to unbanana the banana, the physics in it takes you in a different direction because you got to beat the opposite side of the blade to get it to turn that way.
Yeah.
So with all that being said, I think that what all of it's knife making, and no one's a better knife maker than the other. It's just a different process that
It
adds
is.
adds so much more enrichment to this skill set. You're not just riding a skateboard; you're doing really cool tricks on the skateboard.
Yeah, and it's nice to do the forging process because for me, I like brute to forge finish. I also like really crisp, clean, super nice knives as well. And I've made a ton of those. I am just super in love with the forging it to that point to prove to myself that I can do it. And the reason why I'm doing the fully integrals right now is I'm about to make some integral bolster hidden tang knives, and I don't have the tooling to be able to do that. I don't have press or anything like that, which typically, with the press, it moves the steel from both sides the same distance. Whenever you're doing it with a hammer and an anvil, it's not that way. So it's being able to do this, and I've wanted to do integral bolster knives for a long time, and I figured this is the best way to do it. And I'm really, really, really forcing myself to do some complicated stuff because whenever you forge a integral bolster on a knife, you are having to forge your bevels, and then you're working on the bolster, and whenever you're working on that area, it's altering everything that you just made look pretty, and it's shifting it to one side and shifting it to another side and shifting it to another side. So you have to keep everything nice and centered. And then for me, I'm
Awesome.
even messing with myself again because the handle's tapered.
Yeah,
Now, are you doing
that's the
that?
secret. That's the secret in integral bolsters is constantly keeping on top of it
Mm-hmm.
and cleaning up your work as you continue to forge and make your preform. That's
Oh
the
yeah.
most important part.
Are you creating those bolsters on the horn, or where are you getting those curves? Or on the edge of your anvil, or you've got a radius?
I radiused a section of my anvil to the same exact radius of my hammer. my
Gotcha.
my straight peen hammer that I got from Two Bastards Forge.
Yeah.
So I got that one, and then I've got another hammer that I made myself that has the same radius as well as that anvil. So as I'm striking, I'm just focusing on it, and I'm keeping it nice and smooth and flipping it and making sure that I keep my blade centered, and like keeping the actual spine centered as if it was going to be in between two pieces of scales. Now, forging a completely flat knife to profile is really simple. Now, I could forge a knife to profile that doesn't have the bolster and do whatever the heck I want with it at this point. I'm really happy with that, but I've wanted to do this and get used to it.
Go ahead, Joy.
I was just gonna say, Eric, you ever thought about making you a hardy tool?
Yeah.
Uh, like a top fuller and a bottom fuller.
Yeah, and I've got the bar stock to do it. But again, let's say I ever decided to go on Forged in Fire, and I wanted
Okay,
to
now.
I wanted to be able to do this all with hammers and not fiddle around with tools, and I only had access to hammers and anvils. If I can forge entire knives completely with just the hammer and anvil, and all I got to do is do a little bit of straightening on a 2x72. Uh, I think it'll be a good skill to have, and that's
So
what I'm focusing on.
this just in. We need to know: is there a application or any submissions by Eric Rivers to go on Forged in Fire?
Yeah, Yeah.
The answer is in the affirmative. So we're just waiting for his call to head to the show. Have you already gone to Kids R Us and picked out your 3 days of Garanimals so that you have all matching clothing?
Oh yeah.
I've got plenty
They
of
gotta
matching
match.
clothing, so
They gotta match.
that's gonna be good. I have matching clothing for continuity whenever I'm filming.
Ah,
And but yeah, it's again, I wanted to have the skill set to be able to do this all with just hammer and anvil, and then whenever I get the tool, it's just gonna make my job easier, but I can do it without the tool. Um, and just like you're using your press, you could have done it before without the press, but now that you have the press, you're like, dang, holy crap! You mean all I got to do is move a switch?
There you go.
So is
Yeah.
there any way we can get Forged in Fire to do Templars Edition?
That'd be
Get
cool.
we could team up. We could team up. You've got Odysseer, and Eric and Joey. We could do 2-man teams. I'm on 3-man teams. I'm on Team Eric and Odysseer. Joey, you're pretty advanced, and Don, you're advanced. Mark, you're the newest comer like me to that team. So I think we would kick y'all's butts. And Joey says, and Don says, and Mark says, "Ain't no way,
Hey,
ain't no way."
I want to use the press and the power hammer if I go on that show. Hopefully, I'm on an episode where you actually get to use those things, just so I can try them out. But I
guarantee you try that press out.
Big Blue.
You ain't gonna be wanting to do none of these techniques you're doing right now.
I bet.
No.
I bet.
All I want to do is go on the show and set another chair on fire like Josh Howard did.
And I think it's cool that you want to learn that way. But I'm like Daddy always said, work smarter, not harder. So
this is true.
But when the zombie apocalypse happens, now Eric's got a life skill.
There you go.
No. Not that taking nothing away from him. I think it's awesome.
And I think even after I get my press, I'll still be doing it just because me personally, there's going to be a time where I'm going to just do like I do not plan on forging Damascus by hand. I've done it like 4 times, and it is a absolute nightmare. I've had, let's just say, whenever I was practicing sandmise and gomais, oh my god, I went through the first 6 sandmai billets were failures, and that was a lot of forging to do those sandmais. And then of course I had a few successes, and then my first gomai, that was absolutely crap. Second gomai, crap. And then I got really good at those. And then same thing with my kumai billets. Once I got the hang of those, it was a little bit easier. But dang, dude, that's a lot of forging. When if I'd have just had a press, they would have all been successful.
Yeah.
See, now I can see Joey saying in his best Cajun accent though, like, dude, we got Nutria down here. You do the accent for me.
Holy,
Dude,
was that Austrian?
I think so.
No, right? That sounds like Arnold.
I actually, if it wasn't that, it was probably sounded like I drank a Bud Light or too many. Ooh. But anyway,
you always have to start off, if you're gonna do a Cajun accent, you always have to start off with me. Man, let me tell you something. I kind of like that.
All I can do is shoot him. So anyway, Joey would be saying like, dude, we've got Nutria down here. I would take some Tobot parts. I'm hooking up a generator and I'm running my hydraulic press until all the zombies are gone making knives. So I answered.
Oh, absolutely.
I answered that for you, Joey. Well, guys, I think it comes down to it's time for us to take a little break because we're running low on time. But I think everybody's a knife maker that makes knives. The issue is what do you get out of it? What do you enjoy doing making a knife? And we're all progressing along that. I'm waiting for old Mark VMAX to show up with a tire hammer sitting outside his shop one of these days, trying to add on to it.
like Jason Knight says, one of my favorite things of his is just be a maker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just be a maker and do your thing.
And just so you know, Mark, I'm outgrowing my 1-car garage or 3-car garage, but my bay, I'm outgrowing it very quickly. So there we go. I'm sending off for the Eric Rivers building plans here in the next 6 months. All right, guys, we'll be right back. I got to go tinkle. Oleg Bashevik has been making stabilized wood and other supplies for knife makers for almost a decade. His stabilized wood products have been used by many of the best and most well-known knife makers in the world. This wood, when turned into knife parts, are stable to humidity, water, snow, oils, and other materials that would prematurely wear out a knife handle. He worked out of his shop in Tula, Russia, and produces natural wood products that are as beautiful as Russia's famed Fabergé eggs. Knife makers around the world will tell you that his blocks should not be cut and placed on display. Oleg has distribution centers in Russia and in the United States. He's shipping right out of the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania area, so if you're looking for something in the States, you can have it in just a few days. I guarantee you'll be excited to get your package that comes wrapped beautifully, already polished, so that you can see the most beautiful grain and colors that he impregnates into each piece of wood. You can find Oleg not only on Facebook, but you can also find him at knife-wood.com. That's knife-wood.com on the internet. Go out and take a look at Oleg's products. I'm guaranteeing you'll be happy to put them on your next knife. And now back to the show. All right, guys. Blade Show's coming up.
Oh, yeah.
This isn't very long, but let's go through the list. What are the things you definitely want to do at Blade Show?
Well, can I go first?
Sure. Oh, Joey says, get there.
Yeah,
get there.
I just want to get there 1 year. I just want to be able to get there.
So what is it, Joey? Is that it? You just want to get there?
Yeah, I just want to be able to get there 1 year. That was it. That was it. Eventually, that'll come. There's always next year.
I got you. So I'll start this off. I think that from going there 1 year and looking forward to this year is that when you go to Blade Show, talk to makers. If you're not buying, make sure that you're not interfering with their ability to sell their blades because they've paid a lot for those tables. And if you notice there's a serious buyer up there or someone that's seriously interested, just take a little bit of a back seat because they're there for you. But makers love to talk knife making. They love to meet people. It's one of the best social groups I've met out there. Be sure and talk to your makers. Just don't walk up and look and move on. And let them know what you appreciate in their knives. Please don't point out what you don't like in their knives, but point out the things you do like. Done.
Yeah, I would say also, since I've done art shows, the last thing you want to do is pick up somebody's art piece and drop it on the concrete. Trust me. Especially when
that would be very
especially
don't do that.
Put 12 coats.
Don't do that.
Yeah, and you put 12 coats of lacquer on a big vase, and then someone grabs it and drops it and rolls out there in the parking lot.
Okay, that's rule number one.
Yeah, I was going to say rule number one.
Don't do that.
You guys, I think his name's David Leash. You guys follow him on Instagram?
No, I don't.
I don't know if I do or not.
He's going to be at Blade. He's going to be at Blade Show. I don't remember his table number, but when y'all are there, you got to go check out these D-guard buoys he made. Jesus. So you definitely don't want to ask him to pick it up and drop it on the concrete, Don.
No, don't do that.
Let's use the two-hand rule when you're picking things up and make sure you've got a good grip.
Hey, but the ballast song table, the people that have the ballast songs, man, those people drop them all the time. They got like 45 kids over there just spinning a little butterfly.
I saw somebody. The guys
spinners.
over at Broadbeck or something said that one of those guys walked over and said, "Hey, will you sharpen mine for me?" And they were like, "No way." So they didn't want to put an edge on those things that are little flying missiles that are running around.
Yeah, I think the best thing to do is always ask that person, that maker, "Hey, can I touch this knife or can I pick it up?" And they'll let you know. I mean, that's the courtesy.
Yeah. A lot of the makers will be like, if you walk up and you just stare at it for like 2 seconds, they'll go, "Pick it up, grab it, put it in your hand." They want you to do that. They want you to hold the knife. Well, for one, it's anybody who's trying to sell you anything is going to try and get you to test drive it. But it is definitely one of those things where, they're going to ask you to put it in your hand. The next rule, of course, would be do not wipe that knife on your shirt. Do not use your shirt to clean it off. And then do not try the fingernail test with it. Do not to see, let me see how sharp it is and shave a little thing
Those
off my fingernail or try and shave your arm.
Sharp. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't do that stuff with someone else's knife. It's just I see so many people walk up to the table, look down it. Okay, yeah, that's pretty straight. Let me see. That's pretty straight. Yep. Okay. Yeah. And then they do the little fingernail test, and they know how to sharpen a knife. That's weird. They paid $1,000 for a table at Blade Show. I assume they know how to sharpen a knife. And it's just kind of funny, but it's one of those deals where, like Chip said, go there, talk to the makers. If you make knives and you can bring a couple with you, hand them to the makers that you respect. If there's specific master smiths that are there or bladesmiths that are there that you think are just absolutely awesome, cool dudes, and you love their work, hand your knife to them and say, hey, tell me some constructive criticism. Be
if they
honest
ask
about
for constructive criticism.
Yeah, I'm saying that the person who, if you're a person who's going there as a viewer, and you bring one of your own knives or a couple of your own knives, hand them to the person that you respect and say, hey, tell me what you think about my knife, and have them give you honest criticism, and they'll tell you, you probably shift this thing here, shift this thing here. And the best thing about these makers is if they tell you, you just shift this thing here and shift this thing here, they're going to go, and this is how you do it. So if you're working on your, and they'll tell you how to fix those things, which is really cool.
Do you think that would it be appropriate to go over to a booth of someone I know and go, I'm not worthy as you're bowing down in a Wayne's World hat, Trollsky?
It's I'll tell you. Also, don't do that.
Might weird them
out. But do be willing to say, hey, can I take a picture with you? I have a lot of people who take pictures with me, and it is weird whenever I'm at Blade Show and they're like, hey, oh my God, I know you were going to be here. I'm so happy I got to see you. And they take a picture with me. It was weird the first show, but do it, man. Heck yeah, let's do it. Talk about it.
I got it, Chip. You know what you do? You go up to Trollsky. You say, can you sign my knife?
Yeah, can you sign my knife?
Hey, that's pretty hardcore. Have them sign
Here's
it.
what or whatever. But I will tell you this is that definitely a picture, and certainly letting him know that he was such an influence on what I prefer in a design early on, and I don't know if that'll mean anything to him or not. I think it probably touches us all a little bit when we hear somebody was influenced by us, but certainly that would be the respect that I would want to pay him, because I'm going to head over to his table. So you guys may need to go over with me and just kind of hold me there as I'm talking to.
Well, I'm going to be there on Friday talking to him anyways, and I'll prep him for you coming over there and groveling at
Chip,
his feet.
If he shows up, just smile. If he lurches at you, just punch him.
Hey, just know that things might get weird, but he's doing it because he's passionate.
No, actually, you know what? I do hold him in high regard. I would say, I've talked about who's influenced me, and of course, Eric, you guys have been as well. But early on, when I started watching people make knives, he had this one video, and I still go back and watch it occasionally, making a small knife, and it's about a 8 or 9 minute video. And at the end of it, he's pouring coffee in the woods, and he made it 6 or 7 years ago, but that particular video is what inspired me to make knives. So certainly showing that appreciation. Next thing you want to do, you want to enjoy the cuisine over on the back row. They have some fine German sausages. They serve them in a beautiful little bun Must be handmade or something. And you can also get these triangles with cheese and some type of like pepperonis type meat and a sauce of some sort. It's delicious. I don't know where this cuisine comes from. They also have these little hard corn tasting triangle bits, and they put this fromage kind of yellow stuff on them and some little green jalapenos. And this is like the best food I've ever eaten. So make sure you take advantage of it.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you a place to go. If you're at Blade Show Atlanta, the place you want to eat. Okay, so the main entrance where you actually you walk in and get your will call tickets and all that stuff. There's a restaurant off to the left. It's like almost like a sports bar type deal, and they have amazing food. So myself, Dennis Tyrell, and a couple other people went last Blade Show, and it was the last day that we were there. Went there for lunch, and I was like, "Why wasn't I eating this place the whole entire time?" It was awesome.
And Eric ate the original 72 and ounce steak, and they all got their meal for free because Eric can do that. He can eat a 72 ounce steak.
I can't do that. But
is that from the Great
they didn't have
Outdoors?
that there.
Right. Yeah.
But we have those challenges in Texas.
Yeah.
Plenty of them. That are that big. Yeah. But that little restaurant over there is fantastic.
Excellent.
Food.
I'm gonna look that up. And Eric, did you get your little name tag holder? No.
No, because my I have a name tag thing with my particular pass that has the Rivers experience, like because the pass that I got is a
yeah. I know what you're
I don't know if it's a cat pass or whatever.
Got you.
Yeah, because
that's fine. I just don't know if I need to make one for you. Yeah, Joey.
Just FYI, I'll be making some ID passes out of leather. So
Well, when you do that, I will be happy
That's
to
gonna be
purchase
cool.
one because that's going to take us, guys. Just go to Blade Show and have a good time. But what I want to add to now,
hey, make me one of those passes
I will.
though.
I'm gonna make everyone one.
Yeah, that's gonna be cool.
Ooh, that's cool, really cool, because that takes us to our next one. This is called the segment. Guys, enjoy Blade Show. Go have fun. Don't drive the knife makers crazy. Interact with the knife makers. Interact with everybody there that is a vendor because they pay to be there. They've got great products. They're the reason that we have all these great resources. And above all else, just realize everybody's friendly. Yep. Just stay away from the little guy running around with a foxtail.
That's right.
It's a little strange for me. That's just a little strange.
That was interesting.
But that takes me into the next part of this. It's called What Toys Have I Got? Starring Joey the Riot Terrier. Joey, tell us about your week. You've gotten some nice toys.
Yep. I got a few shop toys, some new equipment, Cold Iron Works, 12-ton mini press, and a new leather sewing machine.
Now I was looking. Now the leather that you posted out there today for us, is that some leather that you had sewn on it?
I did. I did that today. Yeah.
So
there's a bit of a learning curve with a machine. Getting the tension set right on it. Depending on the weight of the leather you're sewing and stitches per inch and setting the machine up, and there's a little bit of a learning curve, but I'm starting to figure it out and actually learning where the stitch is actually made in the process of the rotation of the needle from when it starts to move down through when it goes through and it comes back up and catches the bobbin thread and pulls it up and actually makes the lock stitch. Because if you're not paying attention, obviously hand stitching is way stronger than a machine stitch, but obviously you can get a lot more done with a machine.
Yep.
So yeah, but it's just the way you've evolved with your leather work and everything. How far are we from seeing Joey from becoming a full-time knife maker? Still ways off, or are you getting there?
Oh yeah. I'm building my skill set for when I retire.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It's very.
That way, by the
impressive.
time I retire, hopefully I'll be a master bladesmith.
Well, let me
Hopefully.
see. Let me see here. You're 36 and you weigh 172 pounds.
Oh man, Chip. Thanks, man. Yeah, you're spot on, dude. You're spot on.
Yeah.
No panda for you. Are you 40 yet?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I didn't
yeah.
realize that.
Oh yeah. I'm a little ways past 40.
How old are you? How old are you?
42.
Well, you're still a baby. You're still a baby.
I'll be 40 next month.
Huh.
42 and I weigh 194 pounds.
Well, pick out a stuffed animal, baby. You win tonight too. We've got 2 winners tonight.
Yeah.
My goodness.
I wish I weighed 194
Well,
pounds.
speaking of weight, guys, there's no Santa Claus for Otis here this year. I've lost my beard, and I've lost 20 pounds of
congratulations.
The Buddha belly. Yeah. So while I'm still I've still got 35 pounds to lose. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Getting rid of those old COVID donuts that I ate for 2 years and just enjoying. It really had nothing. It had nothing to do with COVID. It's just during COVID, I just threw it all away. It could die any day. I'm just gonna eat. I'm just joking about. I shouldn't joke about dying, but joking. It was just an excuse to eat. There was a lot of free food to eat over the last couple of years.
Well, food's amazing, and food is fun. It really is, and so are sodas and treats
I have
and stuff
found
like that.
is the best replacement for potato chips is cucumbers.
Yep.
You're like, what? It's just a crunch. It's just a crunch.
Yeah. That's why I eat banana chips.
Yeah, you can eat a little bit here. Yeah, I don't eat nearly the number of chips and crackers I used to eat. So you've got a new press.
Yep.
And you've got 12-ton press?
12-ton, yep. 12-ton tabletop press from Coal Iron Works.
Yeah, you suck too. You suck.
I was
putting in work.
I was gonna get the 16-ton, but I opted for and those pictures are deceiving. You would think it would take up more room, but this thing is like smaller than I thought it was.
Yeah.
And so, but very strong. Like, I mean, I took a 24 layer of 3/16 and 1/16 1084 and 15 and 20. And there was like 24 layers I started with, and it was tall. I don't know. It was 5 inches tall, maybe. And, squished it like it wasn't even there.
Wow.
And I was like, instantly fell in love. I was like,
oh yeah.
I was like, yes.
Here we go.
He just
you just saved yourself a lot of money because you're not paying for billets anymore.
He's got a new YouTube channel. He's crushing stuff like the other people do with their hydraulic presses.
And really, I wanted it because Eric was talking about making integrals, and there's a really big reason why I bought it, because I want to make integral chef knives. That's what I want it for.
You're going to be good at that. You're going to be great at that.
Yes.
Mark,
it's next level.
You got
man.
anything new these last couple of weeks? You got belt.
Really, what I've been doing, I've been working on, so I haven't really put a maker's mark on any of my knives so far. And, I had a maker's mark that I've sketched up and that I've been using, but, haven't put it on any knives. So finally, I bought this battery charger, I don't know, probably 6 months ago or 8 months ago. And then finally I'm like, I got to get to this, and realize that it had the, it's the smart charger, right? It has auto protection on it. And so then I was figuring out, so I shorted through the protection circuit in the charger, and finally got that to work. And so, and now just trying to get through, I'm going to try next time not to make it so deep as you told me, Chip, and maybe it'll come about a little bit cleaner. But I found out I had a hard time getting it started. I guess until it, I guess starts getting a little black on your cotton. And then once it starts burning, then it works really well.
Let me tell you a trick.
But I thought you had something on your site. I have to go look it up again. What was the trick that you showed?
I have one piece of steel. It is my sacrificial piece of steel, and it's for starting my etch every single time I use my to do my maker's mark. And it's just this little piece of steel that I've never cleaned it. I've always just hooked my my connectors to it and got my little solution. Boop, went straight on it, and that piece that has layers of vinegar, salt coating on it, it starts etching in a second. Starts etching, and then all I got to do is disconnect from that, connect to my knife, and go straight on, and I'm etching. Like it gives you that
That's awesome.
initiation on your actual piece of cotton, and from that point forward,
Mm-hmm.
you can instantly go from knife to knife to knife to knife, and you're etching.
Well, let me ask you this, because you mentioned saltwater, Mark. So you've got a Bass Pro Shops down there in Mobile.
There is not one over here. We have there's like a Field and Stream, which I think used to be yeah.
Oh, great Field and Stream. They sell boats. So if you were to get one of them boats and you were to take it over to Don's place and pick him up and sell it
That's
around the
right.
Cape of Florida, where would you end
You
up
know, I
at
think
on
if
the
you
East
kept
Coast?
going all the way up, you might end up in Canada.
And what would
Canadian?
you find there?
Well, you'd find a lot of things, but yeah, you would find Canadians. But I think you would also you'd also find Maritime Knife Supply
I
up
love
there.
it.
Oh, Maritime Knife Supply. And do you recommend them as a vendor?
Absolutely, yeah, tons and tons of stuff there, and just a great selection. And
Hey,
it's from
hey.
Canada, eh?
Hey.
So yeah, so when you got done picking up your stuff, would you just sail it back around with you, or would you take advantage of their fast, free American rates and shipping all the way back to Mobile, Alabama?
No, I would definitely have it shipped.
There you go.
Why put the extra weight in Don's boat?
So you've sold this boat. When you got over to Don's, you
That's
were
right.
just delivering it to him.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, gotcha. So, guys, if you want to go out and find some great products, if you're in Canada or you're on the American side, guys, they've got great shipping all the way around. You can go to maritimenifesupply.ca. That's for Canada. Maritime.ca. Go out and check them out and see what they have to offer. Great company. Mark, what else you got working on, man? You got belts.
So I got belts. I bought a whole bunch of 1-inch belts. To try to get into some of those tight curves, some 1-inch J-Flex scallop belts for handles, and got that done, and really got to get to work. I've been super busy last couple of weeks. I was up in Montgomery actually this past week.
Oh wow!
Doing a heavy equipment competition with my guys up there. But just haven't had this much time. So I gotta work on the Joey knife.
So help me connect the dots here. So you were in Montgomery. I drove through Montgomery this week. You've sailed around the Cape of Florida all the way up to Maritime. You've shipped your stuff back. Took Don back. He got on his boat. You took an Amtrak back over to Mobile because you delivered the boat to Don. You bought 1-inch belts so that you could use those. And you used what discount code for that?
At Phoenix.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Templars 10.
Templars 10.
It's a great discount code.
And you've got those 72-inch belts.
They are. They're.
And you use them on what grinder?
My Ameribraid grinder.
And if you were going to buy a second Ameribraid grinder right now through June 30th, what would you put in there? Would it be Templars 100?
Absolutely, I would.
Because you could save $100 on the purchase of one of their 3 grinder packages. And they will be at Blade Show. So when you go up there, make sure you talk to Kevin or Eric and find out what they have to offer. And additionally, take advantage of that shipping. They don't charge you for shipping, and you're going to save $100 on that package. Joey Terrios, he's excited. What do you got to say? Send it on.
Everyone should go. Everyone going to Blade Show should stop by the Ameribraid booth and check out their new. Well, Eric doesn't even call it a disc grinder. He said he didn't know what to call it yet.
Yeah, I've seen that.
You seen it on Instagram?
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool.
Holy cow! This tool is amazing.
I'm looking it up.
Just like always, so innovative. Eric and Kevin, hit it out the ballpark. But everyone who's going to Blade Show should go definitely check out the Mare Braid booth. Yep.
Lots of great products out there, guys. Lots of great grinders, but I've never seen a more innovative group of people,
Oh,
and
yeah.
those two guys leading that company at something else.
Yeah,
Don, you said you got
I
something new here
recently ordered a book from KH Daily Knives on how to do the filing on the spines. I put that up on my Instagram, but I
Yeah.
ordered.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was yesterday. I ordered from Jason Fry his book, and I wanted to support him. So I've been waiting for that to come in. So
Yes.
he's supposed to autograph it, so that's good. And
Yeah, I was supposed to get in touch
Oh,
with Jason,
my.
see about getting a book with him
Yeah.
too.
If you order it from Jason through his website, he'll sign it. But if you go through Amazon, he can't. So I went through his website to go ahead and get that signed copy.
Okay.
So,
So if you go through khdailycom, khdailyKnives.com, you can pick up a copy of his book, and while you're at it, take a look. Not only at his knives, take a look at his straightening hammer he's got. And if you go to Fry Custom Knives, you're telling me that you can pick up a copy of
Knife Hacks.
Knife Hacks. That's correct. Yes.
Knife Hacks,
That's
and signed by Jason. What a deal! Well, I'll tell you what. That just leads me into let's take a second here and let's talk a little bit. I know Jason's got something to tell us. I can sense it. Here it comes. Ready? Here we go.
Hey, this is Jason Fry. Today I want to talk a little bit about handle material. Every knife needs a handle, and the handle ought to have something good on it. So where do you get the cool stuff? Well, what I want to talk about first is high-end handle material. So when it comes to things like mammoth ivory or sandbar stag, or honestly even vintage rare synthetics that are kind of hot right now, when it comes to stuff like that, I think the time to buy it is when you have the money. Now, on the surface, that sounds kind of smart aleck, and it probably is. But what I really mean is don't wait until you need the material to buy it. If you try to go shopping for a piece of stag when you need a piece of stag, well, good luck. It'll be hard to find what you want, and you probably overpay. Thing to do is when you sell a bunch of knives at a show or something, you go around and you pick that stuff out in person and you pay money for it right then. By the time you get a year in, 2 years in, 3 years into your knife making career, you should have a stash. You should have a drawer full of good stuff. And you pick from it rarely and you fill it up rarely, depending on when you are able to make money to buy that kind of stuff. Main reason for this approach is actually not economics. It's more about picking good material in person. So a piece of stag has so many different dimensions in terms of taper or curve or the size at the small end or the size at the large end or the texture or the color that it is darn near impossible to pick that out online. It is hard to see all those angles and all those elements uh, anywhere but in person. I would say Pearl is very similar. It's kind of hard to pick online. Mammoth Ivory is not too bad. There's some good Mammoth Ivory sellers. But again, I like to look at it in person when I can see the thickness, when I can see the curvature, when I can see the texture. Picking those out in person is more about achieving quality than it is about an economic strategy. The key to having good material when you need it is to buy it when you find it. So there's my tip for today. For more tips like this, check out my book, Knife Making Hacks. It's available on my website, frycustomknives.com.
All right, guys. I think I went around the table. Eric mentioned his hammer. Mark's delivered a boat to Don and went to Maritime and bought some Phoenix stuff from Phoenix and supports Templars 100. Joey's buying stuff from Pops, and he's got new presses, hydraulic presses, and sewing machines. And I don't have anything other than I'm filming a major motion picture right now. I'm sure I'll be at the Cannes Film Festival next year. And I think the thing this year is to go in something transparent with your underwear showing. So I don't know how that's going to look with me doing that, but I'll probably, if I do go next year, I get excited and get that invite. I will be wearing a clear plastic set of Liberty overalls with some neon green drawers underneath it or something, just so I make my.
Yeah, it looks like we got like a little mini
guys,
me Eric.
I think we've. Yeah, I see Mini Me hiding.
That's right.
Yeah, what's going on, Eric? What's going on with Mini Me back there?
Oh, do you have your
Eric
mic mute?
is speaking, but he's not making any
There
noise.
we go. So whenever I whenever y'all were talking, I got up and walked off. I thought my computer had a ghost because I'm on my laptop, of course, and I'm sitting here and my mouse just starts going everywhere and it's like downsizing windows and popping up different stuff. And I'm like trying to combat it with my little mouse pad. I'm like, what the heck's happening? Is my computer somebody hacking me? What's going on? Come to find out, he has my wireless mouse in the other room, and he's just he doesn't know he's playing with it, so he's just moving it around, clicking it, and he's downsizing stuff and moving things over and like popping up other windows. And I was just like, am I getting hacked right now? Is this happening? I don't know how to do this, and I'm sitting here trying to combat it with the mouse pad. I'm like moving the mouse over to like no you don't, and yeah, I go in there and he's just like, yeah.
Well, that's the coolest kid in the world. That's the coolest kid in the world. And with that, guys, we're going to end it on a funny note. And we thank you guys. When we get back, we're going to tell you all about Blade Show and the things that we did there and the adventures that we got. But most of all, this show would not be anything without listeners like you. With that being said, I want to say that this episode, any questions, comments, product reviews, show or guest ideas, email us at knivestemplars@yahoo.com. Be sure and subscribe to the podcast. You can DM us on Facebook at Knives Templar Podcast Group. Visit us again at knivestemplars.com to stay up to date. Our episode is sponsored by The Rivers Experience, Last Blade Standing, knife-wood.com. Oleg dropped another set of wood blocks today, I saw. Ameribraid and the Templars 100 for savings on a machine package. Majestic Forge. Get one of the best forges out there. Byford's Guns out of Hartselle, Alabama. Pop's Knife Supplies, Maritime Knife Supply, and Phoenix Abrasives with that Templars 10 for 10% off your order. And finally, I want to add that you want to go out there and look up Hats by Grizz, made with joy. That happens to be my hat maker, and they've made me quite happy, and they're partnering up with the show. So go out and check out Hats by Grizz, made with joy on Etsy on the internet, or you can find them on Facebook as well. With all that being said, we've got resources at the TRE Workshop on Facebook, the Knives Templars podcast on Facebook, and as always, any questions, comments, show requests, want to be on the show, want to tell us just how wonderful we are or how we can improve, always email us at the knivestemplars@yahoo.com. And with that, guys, I think this is the part where we say goodbye.
Good night.
Goodbye.
Have a great week.
See y'all.
Yep.
And Don,
hey, have a great
Don
night
with his traditional.
See you at Blade Show.
Oh yeah. Good night.
Good night. We'll see you on the next episode.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Well, guys, that was 2 hours and 19 minutes. We just can't get away from those 2.5 hour shows.
Bad.
We've given everybody their money's worth. But you know what? I enjoy sitting here chatting for a couple hours and a half. So it's a lot of fun. Britt was a great guest. The new timeline,
Yes, he was.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. The new time,
great individual.
time zones worked out. Getting Eric back in here with his work requirements, and Mark sobered up. Started wearing clothes to the show. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Yeah.
Do not.
Well, a shirt. At least my shirt.
So, that's cool. That's
Pooh Bear in it.
Hey, Joey, let's take an opportunity to figure out. let's take an opportunity to figure out what's going on in September down in Louisiana. See if we can't all have a team party down there for a few days to just enjoy each other's company for a day anyway. For a day, you're going to be selling knives, right?
Yeah.
Well, you can get all of us to dress up in nice little auto show type dresses, and we can set and bring people into your booth through our fine figures and little sequin dresses like the auto show girls.
Sure, man.
Have you ever been to a Detroit auto show? Anybody?
No.
It's an interesting environment. When I lived up in Detroit, there were ladies that the beautiful women, but they always dressed like beauty queens, and they always sucked you into the booths to sit and talk to the people about the cars and stuff that were there. But I would wear sequined overalls. I'm not quite sure if I'd put on a dress, but I would wear sequined overalls.
And I think I'd pay to see that.
Oh yeah.
Sequin overalls.
Well,
you'd be the guy everybody was talking about at Blade Show if you showed up like that and said, "No more Fox, no more Fox."
Yeah, I'd like to see Trotsky's face when you walked up to him and was like, "Can you sign my?"
What does the Fox?
Whenever I prepped him, when I prepped him, I said things might get weird. I'll be like, he's a rhinestone farmer
with a bedazzled top hat. So, what's that youngin' saying? Don't get off.
He said, "I'm gonna go get a quick thing. Don't get off of there."
A future podcast.
All right.
So
he's gonna show it.
Literally no clue what it's going to be either.
Sweet tea. I'm going to say you're a sweet tea drinker.
No, not really. I used to be, but I kind of got off of a lot of the sugar. I mean,
You're not getting your job back at the carnival.
Don,
you're off tonight, Chip.
In the little fish bowls now.
I can.
Pick one out. Pick one out.
He said, "I can't."
So. And Mark, you didn't want to drive over to Miramar this week to visit me. I was only probably about 3.5 hours away.
Darn.
Yeah, that's because I had that trip up to.
Hey, if you guys are interested in
Montgomery,
certainly, Mark, if you're interested in coming up one of the shows, don't be hesitant. I'm really not as weird as I am on the podcast.
Yeah, I'd like to make it out to Josh Howard's shop.
Yeah,
one of those demos.
Yeah, just feel free to come up. You're more than welcome to have some space in the house here. We got more than enough, and trust me, we're your average American family.
I know.
Yeah. I wanna come to them too.
I know one thing. It'll probably be in the fall because making Damascus in the summertime in Louisiana
hot.
It's hot, dude. Like it's hot.
Hey, but I'm gonna be real with you. Okay. Come do it
at
with
110
me. for 8 hours with just
120 degrees, right?
Yeah, 100.
Yeah,
you'll love it. You'll be like, sure, I'll make Damascus.
Do you have a barn?
I don't care.
Do you have a barn fan or anything out there?
I promise I won't move yet.
Oh yeah, I got fans. Now the only thing that sucks is I haven't started my. Oh my lord! haven't started my doors yet. Like I'm about to have the doors will be up in the next couple of weeks, and then I can open up that big old open up that big old doorway. I've had it closed off the whole time, so the only doorway is one little doorway with my forge in there. So once I can open those up, and I can pull the anvils outside.
How much time are you spending in your other existing building, the old shop where you used to do all your recording at?
Just one.
Oh, almost not at all because I'm in the process of pulling everything out of there. I'm gutting it back to the studs, insulating it, and then
what are you going to use that for in the future?
So that's going to be one of the rooms that I do some of this stuff in. Because I am going to be filming in there, but it's going to be a complete clean room, and I'm adding on the extra, like whenever I do the second add-on, it's going to be the same exact size as my shop that I just added on, It's going to be that size on the other side of my 12x12. And I'll have podcast stuff, filming stuff, all my editing
That'll be
software and
over
all that stuff
that'll
will
be
be
over
in
your
there.
storm shelter, right?
Can I talk to him for a little bit?
Yeah, that'll be over that. And but I'm gonna have stuff set up for it because I'm gonna be doing live streams and a bunch of different stuff other than just the where I'm making knives. I'm gonna do live streams and I'm gonna do stuff for
So
Patreon.
Eric, young Master Rivers beside you, his name is
Dad.
This is Tobias.
Dad, can I talk to them?
That's right, Tobias. So we're going to go ahead and wind this show
Dad,
down. We're at
can I talk to
2:26. Go ahead and give Tobias the headphones so we can
Hello.
talk to him. Tobias, we're going to let you close out the show with us today, son. Got a couple things we want to ask you. I want to get your impression. So just say whatever you have to say. Are you ready? Are you ready, Tobias?
This is like a car I have. It's a mini car. I lost a controller to it.
It's a
I got this.
very nice car. Tell Daddy to buy you a new
Right.
controller. I need to
got
give you a
this
test
from,
real
like,
quick. I need to.
Christmas. I got this from Christmas.
Okay. Well, then you didn't take care of the controller. Now let me ask you this, son. This is a this is a test. You have to keep from laughing. Okay. All right. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Fart.
He's doing pretty good. He did pretty good.
He lost it at the end. There. He lost it at the end. All right, so we can test Dad now. Let's see how Dad does. We're going to give you the same test that we gave Tobias. We're going to see just how you do at the end of this. Okay, you need to go as long as you can without laughing. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. Fart. Like father, like son. And with that, good night from the Knives Templars.
Good night.
We're done.
Good night, everybody.
Brought to you by Porkhouse Productions. Oinky oinky oinky.